So Danny Sperling will lead things off. Shane Holsey, Will Connerly here with you on Car Shield Collegiate League TV. Sperling at third leading off. Turnbow hitting second, the shortstop. Halverson to follow the first baseman. Luke Mann, the designated hitter. He will hit cleanup. Batting fifth is Mitch Daniels, the second baseman. Caden Diehlin left. Zach Floyd will patrol center field. Tyler Headcamp hitting eighth in the right fielder. And Nick Rose, the catcher, will round out the lineup. They're facing off against the Holy Cross commit, the left-hander Gus Poulos. Facing off against Danny Sperling. 3 more games today. Shane, are you ready for it?
Am I ready? Is that even a question?
Well, it was a question until you answered it. So that first pitch is missed upstairs, and the second offering as well. 2 balls, no strikes. Sperling playing the hot corner today for Will Bradley. We saw some wild baseball yesterday. We had to love it on the broadcast on Car Shield Collegiate League TV. Matt Westfall, the catcher, catches that one in the strike zone. 2 balls and a strike. Tommy Woods at third. Gibson at short. Watch out on that left side of the infield. Very good defense. Lane Baremore at second. The 2-1 offering is taken for strike 2. And Gage Cruz at first. In left is Malzahn, in center is Rigoni, and in right is Cunningham, as Poulos is working with a 2-2 count to start off the top of the first. Poulos, the left-hander who works from the third base side of the rubber, gets the sign from Westfall and delivers the pitch. A check swing by Sperling. He didn't go around. The left-handed hitter held up. They appealed down to the first base umpire, but he did not go. A full count to start off the ball game. And you always know to start off the game you can get some momentum. We'll see how this pitch goes. Interesting thing with Colin Turnbow on deck, the infielder. You got the third baseman as the leadoff hitter, the shortstop hitting second. A full count to lead off the ball game, the offering. And ball 4, Poulos loses. Sperling after the full count. Colin Turnbow comes to the plate after the leadoff walk.
That's what Sperling's been doing all summer long. That's why he's a staple in this leadoff spot. Works a good at-bat, doesn't swing at bad pitches. He's going to foul some pitches off. He's going to get his base hits, but he's also going to get his walks. Very patient at the plate.
He's a staple. You could just staple his name in there every day because he's usually going to be at the top of the order, has a great eye, gets on base over 50% of the time. He's on base now with nobody away here in the top of the first. Poulos comes set and delivers the first offering to Colin Turnbow. Saw it all fouled away. Shane, it's been fun doing games with you all summer long. We're almost a month into this, and, man, looking back on it, it's gone by pretty quick. I guess time flies when you're having fun at a baseball field.
That is, I could not have said it better myself.
And for sure we're having fun. All these athletes are as well, getting to compete on their craft at beautiful Car Shield Field this summer. That pitch missed inside. To Colin Turnbow, a ball and a strike to the Maryville infielder. One of the smaller players in this league, but interesting note, hit the first bomb in this league. And this game started at 11:45 for anybody wondering. We started a few minutes early. That ball fouled to the right side. They've moved a couple games up about 15 minutes. This one, I think the first official pitch time was 11:47, 11:48. Is everybody joining, watching here? The Cavemen and the Gems facing off here in the afternoon game, first game of the day. After the foul ball, 2 strikes on Colin Turnbow. The 1-2 pitch from Poulos is missed inside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Poulos looking for the ground ball here. He has 2 strikes. He tried to get pretty with the breaking ball, but buried it. Now in a 2-2 count and tallying pitch to see how this at-bat goes. Does he go back-to-back full counts to the first 2 hitters, or can he get Turnbow here? We shall see. 2 balls, 2 strikes, top of the first, 1 runner on. Sperling reached on the leadoff walk. The offering to Turnbow, and now another full count. The second full count in as many hitters. The left-hander Poulos in a little bit of a pickle here, but can change that. He could erase the walk with a ground ball here. Looking for a ground ball double play. Infield at double play depth. Tommy Woods with a great glove at third. You know they can turn it. Can Poulos induce the ground ball? The full count pitch. And it's ball 4, back-to-back walks to start the ball game. But don't get too jumpy here. We saw Devin Radke start the game off yesterday with 8 straight balls, back-to-back walks. But what do you do to follow that, Shane? 5 shutout innings of 1-hit baseball.
Caught stealing on the next batter and then a double play ball. So
he faced the minimum but started the game off with 8 straight balls. So it doesn't define you. You know the games with the opener now, it is important. The statistics show that first inning, winning that first increases your percentages to win the ball game by a lot, but it ultimately doesn't tell the entire story. There's a lot of baseball left to be played this game and all day long. We have 3 games for you on Carcio Collegiate League TV. The Cavemen and the Gems right now. Gus Poulos trying to work around a couple leadoff walks, misses the first pitch to Halverson. Runners take off. Westfall, no throw, and a couple stolen bases. Brought to you by the O'Fallon Family YMCA. The Y for healthy living, youth development, and social responsibility. Runners on second and third after the stolen base. A ball and a strike. Seth Halverson, he struck a ball pretty well yesterday, hit a home run to left field. He belted that bad boy to the bleachers. He has a chance with a couple runners in scoring position to give the Cavemen the lead here in the top of the first. Poulos comes set. He digs into the glove and delivers the pitch. The fastball in there for a strike. And a lot of times when you see pitchers dig and they don't dig on other pitches, it makes you think as a batter, ooh, this could potentially be something off speed. But then some pitchers dig every time. That's something that the batters look for consistently. As Poulos digs in the glove once again on the 1-2 pitch. Poulos, a lot of times the approach we've seen with a lot of pitchers is don't throw Halverson many fastballs. To get rid of his power as a left-handed pitcher, you want to throw him changeups low and away. Now with 2 strikes, we'll see if Poulos does that. Has a good changeup. The left-hander gets the sign from Westfall. Runners on second and third here in the top of the first. The pitch. It's grounded to the left side. Tommy Woods coming up on it, but he boots it, and the E5. Runners on first and second, and a run comes across.
I think Woods was going to try to get Sperling at home, but I think he just picked his head up just at the last second. That was kind of a tough little hop, tough little short hop to pick up and fire to home. He was trying to get as quickly as he could, but just picked his head up just a little bit.
He was thinking about going home. And because he had the shot, he was thinking there, and sometimes when you're thinking about what to do next, you keep your eye off what's in front of you. A rare error at the hot corner for Tommy Woods, one of the finest defenders we've seen in this league. Would you agree with that at the hot corner for Tommy Woods?
That's an accurate assessment.
Accurate assessment, at least from our vantage point. We've seen him make some plays at the hot corner. Him and Andy Bunton have really had stellar defense in this league as a strike taken. Luke Mann at the plate with runners on first and second. Luke Mann with a couple bloop doubles yesterday. He hit the ball about 200 feet, but he had two doubles on both of them, just pop-ups down the left field line. Not the typical Luke Mann majestic drive that we've seen all summer long. Was in a little bit of a funk. He was still hitting 400 coming into yesterday, but he was hitting 529 at the beginning of last week. And he dropped a little bit over that stretch. He was 1 for 19, but he had a couple doubles yesterday, picked things up. He had 3 hits. As he fouls that one back, 0-2 the count. Runners on first and second. 1 run already across. That was Sperling, who got on the leadoff walk. Back-to-back walks and an error is how this ball game starts. Luke Mann, the cleanup hitter in the box. The breaking ball misses outside. A walk, and an error. And now the cleanup hitter, Luke Mann, who's the designated hitter today. A big RBI opportunity with runners on first and second. And how huge is it as a starting pitcher to take the mound with a lead? That's what Josh Hoffman will do next frame. To start off the ball game, as Poulos takes a look at Turnbow at second and delivers the pitch outside. Mann lays off and works the count from 0-2 to 2-2. Poulos tried to go to the fastball. Now the Mizzou Tiger, Luke Mann, former Gatorade Player of the Year in the state of Missouri. The two-way star at Mizzou comes up here in the first, a chance to continue this first inning rally against Gus Poulos. Can more runs come across? The kick and look over at second. Turnbow stays put. An important 2-ball, 2-strike pitch. Nobody out. Poulos looking for a ground ball. Tommy Woods looking to step on it and potentially get the lead runner. He's at third. Runners on first and second. And the 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Big strikeout right there from Poulos. Mann gets fanned on a swinging strike 3. That brings up Mitch Daniels, the Webster University Gorlock.
How about taking care of Mann with a couple runners in scoring position, nobody out? Now you can get yourself a ground ball, get out of this inning, and keep this deficit at 1. When you already have a deficit, when you walked a couple of guys, an error, you just kind of have to forget about all that stuff. Focus on the next hitter. Just make a good pitch every single time. Just make a competitive pitch, the most competitive pitch you can possibly make every single time.
Pitch missed up and away. The first offering from Poulos to Mitch Daniels. Runners on first and second and 1 out. A couple walks, an error, and a strikeout is how the game has started for the left-hander. The Holy Cross commit, former St. Louis gamer and MICDS standout Gus Poulos towing the rubber for Justin Paulson's Gems. Next pitch up and in, 2-0 the count. Look for Mitch Daniels to sit on a fastball here. Caden Deal in the on-deck circle. Poulos here making his 4th start of the summer. The 6th time he's towed the rubber. The offering. Up and away, 3-0 count. Daniels still with the green light. In the last start, Poulos went 3 1/3, 2 strikeouts, 1 walk, 5 hits allowed, and 1 earned run. That was against the Falcons. His last 3 outings have been against the Falcons. Last 2 outings, rather. As that pitch is up and in, and Daniels reaches base on a walk. 3 walks this inning for Poulos. In 11 1/3 innings coming into this game, he had struck out 12 but walked 8. He has a 3.70 ERA, making his 4th start of the summer. And this is the first time the Gems have seen, or the Cavemen have seen this left-hander, Shane.
And they're not swinging anything out of the strike zone. They saw from the first few pitches he might not have his best stuff. He might not be able to find the zone, and that passes on down the line when a guy say Sperling comes in and scores. He goes and tells the rest of his team, hey, this guy might not have it today. Be patient up there at the plate. Get your pitch. Don't swing at any bad pitches. If you get a strike early in the count, swing at it. But if you don't, be patient, work the count. He might give you a free pass.
And we'll see nowhere to put Caden Deal now. Free pass would cause a run as Deal bats with the bases loaded and 1 out. In these situations as a hitter, you can look back on it. Look how many runners were left on base last night, Shane. There were 16 runners left on base between the 2 teams, if my memory serves me correctly. And we saw that was a wild game. And then we saw a game yesterday, 20 hits in the first 5 innings. We've seen some wild games the last 2 days, but one thing we know, you have to execute in situations like this. You got a runner on third base, less than 2 outs, bases juiced, Caden Deal at the plate. What can the Cavemen do? Can they take advantage of 3 walks and an error this inning from the left-hander? 1 run already across, and Poulos after the mound visit gets back into the strike zone. The Northwest Missouri State product, Caden Deal at the plate. The 0-1 pitch from Poulos, a swing and a miss. And there's an errant throw. The umpire waves it off. What happened here, Shane?
Wait. He has to go back.
They call all the runners back. The umpire called it. Westfall's throw, it looked like was
Maybe
batter's interference on that play.
Is my best guess.
And so Westfall, he tried to gun down to first, but the interference right there. Oh, he signals a foul ball right there, Shane. So 0-2 count. Weird play right there. Looked like that could have been disastrous for the Gems, but 0-2 now, and a strike. Swing and a miss right there. And strike 3 from Caden Deal. That was umpire interference is what they call now. So not batter's interference, not catcher's interference, umpire's interference. He calls it off, 0-2, and then the strikeout by Caden Deal. One of the first umpire's interference we've seen this summer. Thanks for the umpire for taking off the mask and telling us what happened on the play.
I think when Westfall tried to throw that ball down the first, his arm probably hit the umpire, and that might be what sent the throw into right field.
So 2 walks and an error. A run comes across. A strikeout, another walk, and then a strikeout. 2 outs, bases loaded for Zach Floyd. Zach Floyd came in as a pinch runner and scored the game-winning run yesterday. Late inning drama for the Cavemen, Shane.
Yeah, Floyd came in, pinch ran, stole a couple of bases, stole third, and then an errant throw caused the run to score. And after that wild ball game, it had to be something like a throwing error in the last inning that would ultimately bring the winning run across.
The 2-0 pitch, Floyd takes it for a strike. right at the belt on the outside corner for strike one. So bases loaded, 1 run already across. Kimpulo strand 3 runners here in the top of the first. He's in a little bit of a pickle. They've got his pitch count up. As a left-hander delivers the 2-1 pitch, a swing and a miss. What confidence to go with the off-speed on 2-1, 2-2 count to Zach Floyd with the bases loaded. 2 outs here in the top of the first. A 1-0 ball game so far. The pitch count for Gus Pulo so far. That ball tapped to the right side, and it goes foul. But the workload, he's thrown 34 pitches already in this ball game. Here in the first, a lot of stress on the left arm. He has 2 strikeouts, but 3 walks allowed and 1 error have caused all the base runners. Nobody's got a hit yet off the left-hander, as we mentioned, but Zach Floyd up with the bases loaded, looking for 1. Can he come through with 2 outs, or can Pulo strand the bases loaded in the first? Telling story here in the top frame of the first inning. The 2-2 pitch. It's skied foul. Back out of play behind us here in the press box, where we have Shane Holsey, Charlie Bornoff, Will Connerly here with you on Garcio Collegiate League TV. Charlie Bornoff, our producer, who handles the duties on the laptop, what you see on the bottom right of our screen with the score bug and interchanging the score and handling all our commercial coordination. Thank him so much for his service this summer to us on Garcio Collegiate League TV. Does a wonderful job keeping up to date with everything going on. But here in the top of the first, we got a lot going on. 3 walks and an error. The Cavemen already with 1 across. Can they get more? 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Bases loaded. Top of the first. We got drama early on in this one. Already feels like we're in the later innings, Shane. Here in the top of the first ball game of the day, and a walk, another run across. It's getting late early in this one.
That's one way to put it.
So a 2-0 ball game. So a 2-0 ball game after the bases loaded walk. And Poulos comes to the plate. That pitch misses low to Tyler Headcamp. Headcamp ran into a baseball. He hit his first home run the other day. Almost 40 pitches this first inning. 4 walks and 1 error for Poulos so far. 1 error that was in the field by Tommy Woods, but 4 walks, and he's thrown 40 pitches here in the first inning, Shane. A lot of workload for Poulos, as it looks like they're going to need to probably get something stirring in that bullpen much sooner than anticipated. Just 2 runs across. Can Poulos strand 3 and limit the damage? A fastball count. The 2-0 delivery. And Poulos gets in there with a strike. When you're struggling with your command early in a ball game, the mound is where you feel least comfortable as a pitcher. You want to get off there as soon as possible. Obviously, as a pitcher, the goal is to be on the mound as little as possible. It means you're working quickly and getting hitters out quickly. He's been on there for a while here in the first, and this ball is smoked toward left center. Malzahn is back on it, and he catches it at the warning track. Poulos strands 3 but walks 4. 2 come across. We go to the bottom of the first. We got a lot of action early on, Shane. Let's stay tuned for it. Much more to come on CCL TV. Tommy Woods and his cousin Josh Gibson, Ryan Malzahn, Kylan Cunningham, Tyler Fogarty, Gage Cruz, Matt Westfall, Jack Rigoni, and Lane Baremore. That's Woods, Gibson, Malzahn, Cunningham, Fogarty, Cruz, and Westfall, Rigoni, Baremore. They all come to the plate for the Gems in the bottom of the first, and a leadoff hitter did his job yesterday. Tommy Woods getting on base 3 times. He had a couple walks and then drew a 3-ball count, a 3-0 count, and they decided to hit him. They were tired of walking him. They wanted to see something else in the box score. He leads the league 19 walks in 26 at-bats, Shane. 49 plate appearances. 19 walks. He's getting on base 53% of the time. He struck out 11 times, walked, like I got to say it one more time, 19 times in 49 plate appearances.
Just think about it. He's almost walked twice as much as he struck out.
The best plate discipline we've seen. And it's like, you wonder what Tommy thinks about that. You get on base, you're the best on your team at getting on base. So you have to hit at the top of the lineup. Get on base for some of the thumpers in this lineup, like a Josh Gibson, who strokes the ball. He has big-time power. We've seen his gap-to-gap power is huge. But when Tommy Woods is at the plate, it's always warrants a good conversation because, it's probably going to be a long at-bat. So we can always talk about Josh Gibson. He's got 6 doubles on the season. Woods hits this back up the middle. Hoffman, a little flip over to first, and that's the first out. Tommy Woods retired. Josh Gibson to the plate.
And how about Tommy hustling that out down the line and come back into the pitcher? You never, ever know. The pitcher could bobble it. He could throw it high. You never know. Always hustling. Always having fun on the baseball diamond, and it's fun when you're hustling. You're having fun, so that means you're engaged in the ball game.
And this guy's been engaged with many barrels so far this summer. Josh Gibson, 6 runs batted in. He's had 9 hits on the summer, Shane, just 2 singles because he has 6 doubles and a home run. So 7 extra base hits out of 9 knocks for Josh Gibson, hitting second today. The shortstop facing off against Josh Hoffman. A wild top of the first inning. 2 runs come across for the Cavemen. Gus Poulos throws 42 pitches. A half inning that takes over 20 minutes to start the ball game. So we start early. You still caught most of the top of the first. And that's a walk to Josh Gibson. The command of today, we've seen 5 walks between the 2 pitchers here in the first as Malzahn comes to the plate. Ryan Malzahn, the leading hitter so far for the Gems this summer. But Josh Hoffman on the mound. He's making his 4th start of the summer. Has a sub-3 earned run average, just below 3 at 2.9. A 16 2/3 innings. He's just surrendered 13 hits, 16 strikeouts in 16 innings, about 1 an inning and 11 walks so far this summer. That sub-3 earned run average will play for Will Bradley. He went 4 2/3 last time on the mound. He was facing the Gems last Thursday. He went 4 2/3, surrendered 3 hits, and struck out 5 while just walking 2. His longest outing of the summer was against the Eagles. A couple Mondays ago, he went 5 1/3. And Hoffman's pitch missed outside. He's throwing to Nick Rose and will go around the horn. Sperling at third, Turnbow at short, Daniels at second, and Halverson at first. Gibson, the runner on first, who's being held by Halverson. That ball goes to the backstop, gets behind Rose. Gibson will trot into second base. Gets there easily as that ball disappeared from the hand of Josh Hoffman, just popped out, and the wild pitch allows Gibson to advance. Caden Deal in left, Zach Floyd patrolling center field, and in right is Tyler Headcamp. That's the defensive alignment for the Cavemen. Brought to you by Shane Holsey and Will Connerly. Ryan Malzahn, the third place hitter, up with his runner in scoring position. Gibson off to the races, and that ball is drilled down the right field line. It tailed foul. How about Ryan Malzahn this summer, Shane? He's had 10 hits in 26 at-bats, hitting .385, the highest average on the Gems team. Just 8 strikeouts, 28 plate appearances, 10 hits, but 4 of them are doubles and 1 home run, so half of his hits are for extra bases. The full count pitch, missed low. Malzahn gets on base, runners on first and second. And now Kylan Cunningham comes to the plate. Kylan Cunningham hitting .263 so far this summer with a couple home runs. And he comes up to the plate now after you saw the Cavemen in the top of the first take advantage of Gus Poulos, who didn't have the best command. 42 pitches in the top of the first, but now the Gems with a chance to respond in the bottom frame. So the cleanup hitter comes up with runners on first and second. And the powerful outfielder, Kylan Cunningham, St. Charles Community College, where he's taken his talents, was previously at Wabash Valley this past spring. Speed on the base paths, Shane. Anything in the gap, Malzahn could score. Malzahn runs well at first. Gibson runs well at short. Cunningham has speed. He's in the box. A 1-0 count. Hoffman comes set. Trying to shut down the Gems here. He takes the mound as a starting pitcher. He goes out there, does his bullpen, but then 42 pitches later from the opposing pitcher, he takes the mound. Can that affect the command and control of a starting pitcher?
It can, especially when you're not throwing during that inning. You're sitting there for
nifty play right there. You may not have been able to see it on the stream, but right before the third baseman, Danny Sperling, he catches it, and it's almost, in effect, he robbed it as it almost went foul. He had to lean over the railing right there on the third base side, and he catches it for a big out in foul territory. One away with runners on first and second, but back to the point, it affects the command, doesn't it, when you're not throwing?
Yeah,
two outs.
When you have a 20-minute top of the first and you're the away pitcher, I mean, yeah, the bullpen is way out in right center, so maybe you don't have the benefit of maybe going out there, and sometimes you'll see pitchers during a long inning when your team's at the plate a long time. You'll go out there and throw a few just to keep your arm loose. You maybe throw once for every 2 pitches in the game just to keep your arm loose so it doesn't get tight. He's probably wearing a jacket down there in the bullpen, maybe or in the dugout, maybe just on that arm to just keep it loose. But when you go out there, warm up before the game, say you're done 5-10 minutes before game time, and then you're the away team, so you hit first, and then 20 minutes later you're back out there on the mound. You haven't thrown for 25 minutes to a half an hour. That does affect your command. You don't have the feel that you have in that bullpen. It's been a while since you've actually thrown.
Drilled
so
toward the third baseman. Sperling stays with it, but it can't be scooped by Halverson. Gibson comes across, and the Gems scratch one back with 2 outs. It's a 2-1 ball game. And you mentioned you potentially don't have that command, and I thought it's always interesting. I mean, we've both been starting pitchers before. Did you think it's easier as an away pitcher or a home pitcher to get ready for a ball game?
Home pitcher, because you're going out there. You're the first guy out there.
You know your schedule.
You know exactly when you're going to take the mound. When you're the away pitcher, you could be out the top of the first could take 5 minutes, or it could take 25 minutes.
Like it did last inning. But I also think another caveat to that is you could also be like Josh Hoffman and take the mound with the lead and have more confidence as well as a away pitcher. Also, when you're on the road, some pitchers pitch better on the road compared to home splits, but it's interesting to look at. You look at Dakota Hudson, he's a guy who's one of the best rookies in the National League last year at home. So some guys just excel more at their friendly confines. Is that a thing of guys being comfortable, but then some guys excel on the road for some reason? Maybe they're good in different environments. They can clear their mind more. It's interesting to see what environments guys succeed in, and it's the coach's jobs to put them in those environments as much as they can. Ball skied toward right field. It's going to be foul.
And to go along with that, with the home mound, 1, you know when you're taking the mound. 2, it's a familiar mound. Yes, every mound in the big leagues is pristine. It's manicured to the finest detail, but not every mound's the same. All 30 mounds in the major leagues. Every single one of them is different.
And the background, the setting is different.
The background, the setting, the stands behind home plate. I mean, but when you're on your own mound, you're used to that. You're used to that comfortable feeling. You know what you're going to get with that mound. You go to a away mound, you might not know what you're going to get.
We'll see what we get. After one, we have a 2-1 ball game as Gage Cruz is rung up. A couple left on base. Hoffman works out of it. 2-1 ball game. We send it to the second inning. A new pitcher coming in for the Gems on CCL TV. This inning brought to you by Interco Recycling. Interco's been recycling non-ferrous industrial metal, batteries, computers, and electronics since 1996. The company operates a 400,000 square foot, 45-acre facility on the Illinois side of downtown St. Louis. So if your company has large amounts of scrap metals, batteries, or electronics to recycle, you can call Interco Recycling. 1-877-258-3601 or on the web at www.itcscrap.com. Interco Recycling, a Mellatronics recycler since 1996. 9-1-2 up as Gus Poulos throws 42 pitches, and he's done after one inning of work. They go to Logan Caton. He comes into the ball game. Last time he went one inning, 3 hits allowed, 3 earned runs, 2 walks, and a strikeout. Second time he's making the appearance, wearing number 5, the left-hander committed to play at Lindenwood. Facing off against the catcher, Nick Rose, here in the top of the second. So 2 for the Cavemen in the top of the first, and the Gems respond with 1 in the bottom frame. Here in the top of the second inning, a little offense early on, and they get to the pitcher, Poulos. 2 runs surrendered in that inning. The walks definitely didn't help him. The first 2 batters of the ballgame walked. They both came around to score. Then an error, a strikeout, another walk, a strikeout, a walk, and then a flyout. 4 walks from Poulos in the inning. His night complete after 42 pitches. And Rose comes and leads off this ball game, this top of the second inning, with a walk, and leads off the ball game in terms of Logan Caton's perspective with a walk. He comes into the ball game, and he came in because of the lack of command that Poulos had today. We've seen 7 walks combined today from all the pitchers early on. In this afternoon, we haven't really seen. We struck past noon, about half past noon, and we haven't seen the pitchers get a good feel for the strike zone yet. Logan Caton coming in. He led the whole Indians in innings as a junior, made 11 appearances, 6 starts, a local product, trying to get the job done on the mound. The left-hander facing off against the top of the lineup. Danny Sperling now in the top of the second inning with a runner on first and a 2-1 Caveman lead as Caton making his first inning of work here in the top of the second after Poulos is removed from the ballgame after an inning. The fastball, curveball, slider, changeup mix from the left-hander. committed to play at Lindenwood. That's fouled away. And Caden, his job, eat up some innings. You weren't expecting to probably come in the second, so tough situation for any relief pitcher, but that's the life of a reliever. Expect the unexpected.
Always be ready.
It's a fun job to be in the bullpen. It's a job you have to do. You don't have that certain schedule. And Caden's coming set. The ball comes out of his hand, and one of the more unique balks you're going to see, Shane. That ever happened to you? Ball slipping out of your hand when you're coming set?
I think I remember one time. I think it happened. Sometimes hands get a little sweaty. The ball just slips out of your hand. You maybe gripping it a little too loose, not gripping it tight enough, and sometimes it just slips out of your hand. It happens.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Sperling. So Rose with the leadoff walk and then advances to second on the balk from Caden. The ball, he just dropped it when he was on the mound. The 2-2 to Sperling, fouled away. A 2-1 ball game in the top of the second. And the left-hander Caden coming in. So Paulson, he goes to another left-hander out of the bullpen. And the job is just to do kind of what Foley did yesterday. Foley did a great job. Back-to-back days, you've seen starters get pulled earlier than expected. Yesterday, it was Foley for the Cavemen, and now the Cavemen knock a starter out early in the ballgame. And this time, they're trying to do the damage and get to this Gems bullpen. They already did in the second inning. Caden with the job of eating up some innings here. A full count to Danny Sperling, the leadoff hitter. Walked and came around to score last inning. And he drills this one towards center. Rose, the catcher, is going to be held at third. And Sperling has himself a knock. Runners on the corners. Nobody out for Colin Turnbow.
No shot you're going to run on Jack Rigoni. He's thrown out a couple of runners at home. That ball just hit a little too hard. Rigoni was playing shallow as it was. No reason to chance it there with nobody out.
How about the standings in the CarShield Collegiate League right now? The screws are tight. Just a couple games separate the top 4 teams in this league, Shane. It'll be fun to watch down the stretch. Who's going to have a big second half? Who's going to be able to come up and, stay persistent on the grind this summer? The Corn Belters, the Eagles, and the Hoots seem like the most premier teams to watch so far. And watch out for that Falcon offense. That pitching staff is pretty solid. It's spotty at times with their command. But that offense, you'd probably have to say, has the most talent in the league. They got some big thumpers in the middle of that lineup. But the Hoots, their pitching has led the way, and the Eagles have just been pretty consistent. The comeback kids, it seems like, as they are the first team to double-digit wins in this league. Runners on the corners, nobody out. Colin Turnbow at the plate. The pitch. And it's hit down the left field line. Tommy Woods hits off his glove. He dives for it. That's a base knock, and Turnbow's going to dive into second base. He has himself a double.
That's a tough play for Tommy Woods. A nice effort on the dive, but that was always going to be a difficult play.
So nobody out, a run already across, and runners on second and third still. So a rally starting now, and Seth Halverson, a man who had a big-time fly yesterday, he really swung the bat well yesterday. Even a couple flyouts to left that he struck well that didn't get down, and then he had one that left the yard. He has a good bat already with a couple home runs this summer. We know he can get up to about 95 miles an hour on the mound as well. Hitting third for the Cavemen, Luke Mann on deck, the cleanup hitter. Runners on second and third, nobody out, a 3-1 Cavemen lead. 2 runs in the first, 1 already across here in the second. So they knocked Gus Poulos out of the game after 1 inning. He threw 42 pitches in the first. Surrendered 4 walks. And now a walk and a back-to-back knocks against the left-hander. Logan Caton has the Cavemen in a good driver's seat to drive in more runs with runners on second and third. Nobody out. Already 1 run across as they lead by 2 runs in the top of the second inning.
And we mentioned the teams towards the top of the standings. Don't forget about these Cavemen either. If this lineup can get going, they can put up some runs. They might not have the pitching like the likes of the Hoots or the Falcons or the Eagles, but If they can put up some runs, they can slug with any team in this league.
The 1-1 pitch to Seth Halverson. Caden's going to step off. Halverson calls time. They're going to think about it a little more. Caden working from the windup. Runners on second and third. Nobody out the pitch. The breaking ball misses. And that's a dangerous pitch right there to hang a breaking ball to Seth Halverson. He lays off, and it's a 2-1 count. Does Caden come with the fastball? The pitch. He does. It's drove to center. One run's going to come across. Colin Turnbow advances to third, and 3 straight knocks. Another run comes across, 2 already this inning, and a 4-1 lead for the Cavemen.
Caden went with a little quick pitch there. He likes to vary his mechanics. He'll go 3 or 4 different speeds. Sometimes he'll go the full leg kick and come down almost Clayton Kershaw-esque. Sometimes he'll just go slowly to the plate, nice and smooth. And sometimes he'll have that quick step and just fire to the plate. But Halverson, he wasn't fooled.
A walk and then 3 straight hits. The Cavemen in the driver's seat. A 4-1 lead, and Luke Mann, the cleanup hitter at the plate. Runners on the corners, and first move, Halverson is off. The throw is gone away. A run from Colin Turnbow is going to score. Halverson's going to go to second base. The throw went out of play, and Halverson has to stay at second base, just advancing 1 bag on the throw out of play. So runner on second, and a 5-1 ball game. You want offense early? Well, you've got it. 5-1 Cavemen on top. That one you couldn't really say offense, just taking advantage of an error. But we've had offense, 3 straight base knocks by the Cavemen. Luke Mann looking for one with a runner in scoring position. Still nobody out. A walk and 3 straight hits to lead off this inning against the relief pitcher. In his first inning of work, he's trying to stop the bleeding that Gus Poulos had in the first, throwing 42 pitches and 4 walks. A quick call to the bullpen for Justin Paulson, and now Logan Caden struggling. As the Cavemen have squared him up a couple times. First pitch misses to Luke Mann, 1 ball, no strikes. A 5-1 lead. As the left-hander comes set, Westfall, the catcher, sets up outside, and the pitch misses. 2 balls, no strikes. Halverson at second base. He advances on the miscue. Caden working quickly, falling behind in the count to Luke Mann. Now there's more action in the bullpen. The left-hander comes set. They're playing man straight away. Halverson thought about going. And Caden will step off wisely. Halverson loves to bounce around out there. And Gibson trying to hold him on second base. The Gems just trying to hold on to this ball game. Still nobody out in a 5-1 game in the top of the second inning. The offering to Mann. He drives this one towards right. It has a chance. And it's off the top of the wall. Luke Mann's going to have extra bases. Halverson comes around to score. And the third double in the past 2 days for Luke Mann, and it was almost a majestic fly to right field, hit off the big wall here at Carshield Field. A knock and another run for the Cavemen. They're pouring it on early here on the Gems.
That hit about 20 feet up on that 35-foot high wall. Don't know the exact measurements on it, but that hit about 2/3 of the way up off that rental supply sign up there down the right field line and just inside the pseudo foul pole, if you will. But the wall is going to earn you a lot of hits. It's going to take away some home runs, but Mann will take an RBI double.
That definitely took away a home run, it felt like.
It is only about 300 feet. It's listed at 299 right down the right field line.
Who knows? It probably would have gone. It probably would have gone out at other parks. It was still going. I wouldn't say it was like other balls we've seen where it's drilled the wall and it was a for sure home run. But he got a hold of that one, and he's on second base with a double. And this ball hit down to left field. Luke Mann's going to advance to third base. Runners at the corner, still nobody out. So a walk, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 straight knocks against the left-hander. 6 straight hitters have reached, and the Cavemen are pouring it on. 4 runs across. Justin Paulson has to be frustrated with the way his pitching staff has thrown. 4 walks and 42 pitches in the first with 2 runs scoring. And here, 5 straight knocks. 2 of them go for extra bases. The double by Mann and the double by Colin Turnbow. And Justin Paulson makes a call to the bullpen. Logan Caden's night's complete. Fails to record it out in this one, and Sam Lemkool comes into the ballgame. We'll tell you about him next on CCL TV. A 6-1 ballgame. Caden Deal coming to the plate next. 64 pitches thrown, but only 3 outs for the Gems pitchers. And now the third pitcher coming here to the ballgame in the top of the second. A 6-1 Cavemen lead. They're still looking for more. Runners at the corners, nobody out. Logan Caton, a walk, and then 5 straight knocks. He's out of the ballgame. Runners on the corners and Caton Deal at the plate. Nobody out here in the top of the second. A 6-1 lead. The 2 runs by Poulos in the first. Those were unearned because an error was committed in the inning. But all those runs earned on Logan Caton and a couple more runs that he's responsible out there as well. Led up a walk, Shane, and then 5 straight knocks. It wasn't his day. As that pitch is missed upstairs, Sam Lemkool into the ball game. A 5-run lead early innings. 4 runs in the second, 2 in the first. A 6-1 lead for the Cavemen. Justin Balson having to make the call to the bullpen already twice today. We're in the second inning. Gus Poulos went 1 inning through 42 pitches. And then Logan Caton came in, now Sam Lemkool. Lemkool's been effective this summer. Now he's going to try to eat up some innings and stop the bleeding. 64 pitches and only 3 outs for the Gems pitching staff today. That pitch missed outside. Sam Lemkool this summer, 15 innings, 12 strikeouts, and just 3 earned runs, a 1.4 earned run average coming up. He's been effective, only 12 hits allowed in 15 innings, has a whip of about 113. Upstairs. A 113 whip and a 1.4 earned run average. The left-hander's been crafty but effective, just 5 walks to 12 strikeouts and just 3 earned runs over 15 innings of work, making his 10th appearance out of the bullpen. That's the highest on this team. And a walk to Caden Deal. 7 straight base runners reaching this inning, Shane. And the Gems just want to pray to somehow get out of this one. Josh Hoffman wisely going to at least toss a little, but still nobody out. Bases loaded. 7 straight base runners to reach to start this inning. And Zach Floyd, who came in to pinch run, scoring the game-winning run yesterday. He walked last time at the plate. And still only 3 outs that the Gems have had. Working on their 3rd pitcher of the day. Rough start for the Gems. Down by 5 runs in the second. This ball hit to left field. Ryan Malzahn backtracking for it. Mann tagging at 3rd. Mann's going to come home, and that's a sacrifice fly. Productive at bat for Zach Floyd. 7-1 now, but 1 out. Finally an out recorded for the Gems here.
If you're the Gems, you'll trade a run for an out any way you can get it, the way things are going right now.
So Mann doubles, comes around to score his 3rd double in the past 2 days. Daniels at second, Deal at first, and in the box now Tyler Headcamp flew out to left last time at the plate. A 7-1 lead. The Cavemen, you could say they woke up today. They had a string of 5 hits in a row. They took advantage of Caton coming in the strike zone. His stuff was a little flat today, and the Cavemen hitters took advantage of it. It all started with the leadoff hitter, Danny Sperling, a single. He started the first 5 hitters in the order, notched singles off him. The second inning started with a Nick Rose walk, but then Sperling started the string of 5 hits. That pitch taken on the outside corner for a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. Headcamp in the box, the right fielder. With runners on first and second, finally 1 out after Floyd flew out to left field, getting the sacrifice fly RBI. Lemkool, his 10th appearance of the summer, and his earliest appearance. Usually he's used in more high-leverage situations later in the ball game as that pitch is taken for a strike. But Paulson didn't get the length out of his starting pitching that he would have desired, as Poulos just goes 1 inning, and then Logan Caton comes in the second and fails to record an out. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Lemkool comes set and delivers the pitch. A swing and a miss, nasty changeup to get Headcamp. He pulls the string, 2 outs. So after walking Deal, Lemkool gets back-to-back outs, and he's 1 out away. But Nick Rose, who led off this inning with a walk to start off a big inning, 5 runs across. He comes back to the plate. A leadoff walk came around to bite the Gems, you could say. Already surrendering 5 runs in this inning. 2 outs, runners on first and second, and the man who started the inning back at the plate as ball's drilled towards center field. Jack Rigoni backtracking forward. He has good range, and he catches it on the run to center field. But now before 5 come across, 2 pitchers had to be used. But 3 outs get recorded. Lemkool comes in, walks a batter, then records 3 outs. But a string of 5 hits in a row and 5 runs come across for the Cavemen. They're on top. They lead by 6. We send it to the bottom of the second on CCL TV. Shane Holsey, Will Connerly here with you on Garcio Collegiate League TV. And Matt Westfall here with us in the bottom of the second inning. He's at the plate facing off against Josh Hoffman. We saw a little bit of offense last inning, a string of 5 hits in a row. 5 hits for the Cavemen. They all came in a row, Shane. They say hitting's contagious, and that's what we saw. A big 5 spot. This ball hit towards center in a diving play. But it's a base knock as Jack Floyd completely lays out for it, but it comes out of his glove. You thought they could have called it almost a catch like that Des Bryant rule when you lose contact with it right when you hit the ground, but he didn't ultimately come up with it, a single for Westfall.
He had it until he hit the ground. The ball just popped out of his glove. When you dive like that, you want to turn your glove up back towards you, 1, to keep you from jamming your wrist, and 2, that helps keep the ball in your glove, keeps it from popping out when you hit the ground.
I feel bad if you're a Cowboys fan because that probably keeps you up at night. Did Des Bryant catch that ball? We don't know. We shall never know. But what does Shane Holsey think? A 7-1 ball game here in the bottom of the second. 5 runs scored last inning. And Josh Hoffman, we said, okay, a 42-pitch at first inning. He took the mound with a 2-0 lead. Okay, he surrenders 1 in the bottom of the first. Then the Cavemen say, we're going to give you more time to rest. They score 5 runs, a string of 5 hits, 7 base runners reach in a row. And now another long inning. He was actually throwing in the bullpen last inning with nobody out just because it had been so long.
Mm-hmm.
So Westfall gets on the bloop single to center. And that brings up Jack Rigoni to the plate. He takes that pitch for a ball. Here in the bottom of the second, Shane Holsey, Will Connerly here with you. Eventful first couple innings, and it's all Cavemen early on. Josh Hoffman didn't have too efficient of a first inning either. He had to throw over 20 pitches, 25 in the first, but a couple walks and just surrendered 1 run. He has a very comfortable lead. We'll see how that changes his approach on the mound. The left-hander comes set, the 2-2 pitch outside. Missed up and away, 3 balls, 2 strikes.
And even with the lead, you're comfortable, but you can't get complacent. You can't lose focus. You still got to make good pitches.
Absolutely.
These teams can come back. Sometimes it's easy when you have a big lead to kind of, oh, I have a big lead. I don't need to do as much, you know.
That
get a little lackadaisical.
Drilled right back up the middle, Shane, and you can get complacent, and that's your biggest enemy as a baseball player. The game will humble you so quickly. Runners on first and second. We'll see if the Gems can't scrap away at this lead. After surrendering 5 runs last inning, one thing they can do now for Sam Lemkool is at least scratch a couple runs across and get the feeling that, hey, we're not totally out of it. A ground ball, double play ball, the flip over to Turnbow, throw over to first, and a 4-6-3 twin killing. The 1 pitch, 2 outs. That erases a couple back-to-back base hits. Westfall advances to third, but now there's 2 away. Big job by the left-hander to get inside on the hands of Lane Baremore. Now the leadoff hitter, Tommy Woods, coming to the plate.
Baremore's not wasting any time at the plate. I believe he swung at the first pitch his last 4 at-bats. Every time he was at the plate yesterday, he swung at the first pitch, swings at the first pitch there, and what do you know, 2 outs.
First pitch to Tommy Woods. He's first pitch swinging. This is going to be a knock to right center field and an RBI for Tommy Woods. The Gems notch another run. They still trail 7-2.
Wasn't the most well-struck base hit you're ever going to see, especially off the bat of Tommy Woods, but he'll take away any way he can get it, take a 2-out RBI, and that's all he can just keep the line moving, put the ball in play, and good things will happen.
First pitch swinging, Woods being aggressive. We don't see that a ton out of him, but the ball's right there. He could do something with it, and he worked it for a base hit to right center field. Gibson takes the first pitch low and away. 2 outs, 1 runner on base, a 7-2 ball game. 1 run across in the first, 1 in the second for the Gems, who trail by 5. The pitch. This ball's hit, popped up toward the second baseman, and Daniels is under it. He catches it for the 3rd out. Woods traded at first. 1 across for the Gems, but they've trailed by 5. We're through 2. Shane Hulsey talks to you about the middle innings. We head to the 3rd. Will the Cavemen offense keep going? Can the Gems make a comeback? We're early on here at CCL TV.
Danny Sperling leads things off against Sam Limcole here in the top of the third. Shane Holsey, Will Connolly. I'll take you through the middle innings. It's been a long first couple of innings. Took us about an hour to play the first couple innings. 7-2 Cavemen lead as we head to the third inning. 5 runs in the top of the second for the Cavemen. They keep things rolling. They scored 8 runs on 13 hits yesterday and 7 runs on 5 hits already here in the first couple innings. Danny Sperling has one of those hits and has scored a couple of those runs. He's 2 for 2, and he leads things off here in the third. Walked to lead off the ball game and contributed a base hit and a run in that inning. Sperling, Turnbow, and Halverson here in the top of the third. Sam Limcole got the final 3 outs of the second inning. Already the third pitcher for the Gems. 3 lefties. The left-hander Poulos win an inning. Logan Caton failed to record an out in the second inning, and Sam Limcole got the final 3 outs.
And usually, Shane, you want to throw lefties out here because you got Sperling at the top of the lineup and then Mann as the cleanup hitter, but they're deploying all their lefties to start this ball game.
And Justin Paulson will go have a word with Limcole. There's no action down in the Gems bullpen, but the walks have been aplenty here in the first few innings. Make that 7 walks by Gems pitching so far.
How many walks is that today, Shane, from the pitchers? Was that 8 for my 8 walks between the two
9,
teams? 9 walks between the two teams.
And
Sam Lemke is really shaken up. He was holding his arm, and the trainer comes out there.
We're gonna
really hope he's okay,
yeah,
Shane.
He's holding his left arm. That's never a good thing, and he's trying to stretch it out as he walks back to the dugout. But we'll have a new pitcher to tell you about for the Gems. Their 4th pitcher. They've had to run through some arms here on a beautiful Wednesday afternoon for baseball. We'll be back to tell you about the new arm for the Gems right after this. 7-2 Cavemen. So Sam Lemcole exits the ball game. We hope everything's okay with Lemcole. So Matthew Hess comes into the ball game out of Missouri Baptist University. The 6'7", 235-pound right-hander fires in a strike to Colin Turnbow. Second time we have seen Mr. Hess out there on the mound. Worked 2 innings A couple of days ago against the Corn Belters, 2 scoreless frames, couple of hits, a strikeout, and a walk. He deals to Colin Turnbow for his first hitter. 1 ball, 1 strike, runner on first base, Danny Sperling after the leadoff walk. And Turnbow hits that one into shallow center field, but no problem out there for the speedy Jack Rigoni. Not much falls out there when he's in center field.
That's right, Shane. And the 4th pitcher used, you're going to go through a lot of pitchers for both teams. 4 pitchers for the Gems specifically when you have 9 walks between the two teams early on. Already, with 9 runs scored, we're in the 3rd inning, Shane. Just overall, when you look at the box score, pitching coaches would have fits looking at this box score right now. 4 pitchers used. Lemkel was doing well, but his arm got hurt, and we hope he's okay. We're not going to assume anything, but that was his 10th appearance of the summer. He's worked a lot this summer. A big Missouri Baptist arm.
That's hit out to second. They're going to have to hurry to turn 2. They get the force at second, but that's all they're going to get. Nice play by Gibson out at short. So they at least get the lead man. Sperling is erased from the base pass, and Halverson takes his place at first with 2 away. So Hess comes in and gets a couple outs.
Here comes a guy who nearly missed a home run last time at the plate, Shane. He already has a couple this summer.
He's hit a few. Quite a few doubles, too. He has 3 of them the last 2 days, and that one probably went farther than the first 2 combined. Check swing and a strike. He hit those 2 doubles yesterday, maybe a combined 250 feet. And that last double off the wall was going to travel well over 300 feet. So no balls, 1 strike. Matthew Hess delivers a breaking ball in for a strike. We've been impressed with this big right-hander so far, although small sample size, but he's pitched well out of the bullpen here his first couple outings.
Small sample size is right, but that's what this league is. I mean, only 30 games for each team. So you throw out there and you impress. And
Halverson takes off, and he's going to steal second easily. Another stolen base for Halverson. Brought to you by the O'Fallon Family YMCA, the Y for healthy living, youth development, social responsibility. Halverson swipes second base. How about 11 stolen bases for Halverson this summer and a called 3rd strike? So Hess comes in and gets 3 straight outs and gets the Gems out of the 3rd unscathed. We head to the bottom of the 3rd. Gems coming to bat. They trail at 7-2. Cavemen on top. Ryan Malzahn leads off the bottom of the 3rd for the Gems. Matthew Hess comes in, gets the final 3 outs of the top of the 3rd. Josh Hoffman back out for his 3rd inning of work. Malzahn, Cunningham, and Fogarty, 3, 4, and 5, the heart of the Gems order due up against Hoffman as they try to claw their way back. And Malzahn is hit by the pitch. So Malzahn reaches base for the second time. He walked back in the first inning. Reaches on the hit by pitch there. Now for Kylan Cunningham. 7 runs, 5 hits, 1 error for the Cavemen. 2 runs, 3 hits, 2 errors for the Gems. Hoffman fires in a high strike to Cunningham. No balls, 1 strike. Cunningham popped out to third base. It was a nice play over there by Danny Sperling, the third baseman, in foul territory. And a good breaking ball in there from the SEMO Red Hawk, Josh Hoffman. No balls, 2 strikes to Cunningham after the hit by pitch of Ryan Malzahn. And that's chopped foul on the first base line. Cunningham, .263 hitter coming into play. Couple of home runs. Couple of long home runs to right center.
Yeah, some good power. Big left-handed bat.
Good speed, good arm in right field as well. Plays some center. And he might have another one here as he smokes that one to right center, but it won't carry quite enough. But Deal drops it at the warning track.
A mistake right there, just taking your eye off the ball at the last minute. That talks about complacency and kind of mailing it in, like we talked about with a pitcher, like you don't want Hoffman to do. That's kind of what happened to Deal in right field.
And the wackiness continues. A drop ball out in right center. Second error of the game for the Cavemen. Each team now with 2 errors. So now runners on first and second. The first 2 have reached on a hit by pitch and a drop fly ball. Cunningham gave it a good ride. It got to the warning track, but Caden Deal just missed it. One ball, no strikes to Tyler Fogarty, and after the Cavemen offense exploded, still, it's only the 3rd inning, and still just a 5-run deficit. 2 balls, no strikes. And if the Gems can scratch across a couple here, capitalize on this hit by pitch and error, all of a sudden we got a whole new ball game. 2 balls, no strikes. 2-1. Matthew Hess came in and got the final 3 outs. He's looked sharp out of the bullpen. Justin Paulson going to stretch him as long as he possibly can. And hopefully the Gems can, for his sake, get back into this ball game and take a little stress off Hess. 3 balls, 1 strike. Tyler Fogarty runs well down the first base line. Going to be tough to turn 2. Good speed on the base paths. The 3-1 from Hoffman. Skied into center field. Straight away center. Zach Floyd gets behind it and makes the catch for the first out. So a big out there, now a double play would end the inning. It'll be the Western Illinois Leatherneck, Gage Cruz, to try his luck with 2 on and 1 out. No action down in the Cavemen bullpen. Just a couple of runs for the Gems. Not the best outing we've seen, not the best we've seen Josh Hoffman, but trying to fight his way through and keep his team in front. He's got a 5-run cushion.
Don't need your best, exactly, when you have 7 runs for your staff. It's nice, it helps, and all you got to do is be better than the other team's pitcher usually. And obviously both of them don't have their best stuff, but Hoffman, they've only used 1 pitcher. They've used 4 for the Gems. That's really been the sticking point. When the starting pitcher comes out in the first inning, you have to hopefully get length out of the bullpen, and they haven't even got that. They've used 4 different pitchers through 3 innings.
One of them, unfortunately, Limcool, coming out with an injury. We hope everything is okay with him. He's been worked a lot. Hopefully it wasn't a case of overworking. We don't want to assume anything, of course. But 1 ball, 2 strikes to Gage Cruz as he swings through that pitch. Matt Westfall waiting on deck. The 1-2 coming from the left-hander, Josh Hoffman. Swing and a miss. Cruz goes down on strikes for the second time. And after the first two have reached, a fly ball and a strikeout, and Hoffman 1 out away from getting out of it.
A frustrating day for the Gems so far, Shane. You come out a little flat as a team and get behind the jump, or 7 runs in the first 2 innings. It's tough to respond like that as a team. It kind of takes the energy. You get up, you put the pants on, you're ready to play baseball, and then you kind of get punched in the mouth. Everybody has a plan, like Mike Tyson says, until you get punched in the mouth. And then the plan goes out the window. And it says, hey, are you going to quit, or are you going to get back up? Are you going to keep fighting in this game?
They're trying to fight back here. Still a long ways to go in this ball game. We've been playing for a while, but it's only the 3rd inning. 1 ball, 1 strike to Matt Westfall. The first 2 reached on a hit by pitch and an error. And that's chopped to third. Easy play there for Sperling. He'll step on the bag. So after the first 2 reached, 3 straight retired by Hoffman. We're through 3, 7-2 Cavemen as we head to the 4th. I want to take this time to thank our sponsor, Interco Recycling. They've been recycling non-ferrous industrial metals, batteries, computers, and electronics since 1996. So if you have any of that to recycle, give Interco a call, 1-877-258-3601, or head over to itcscrap.com. They'll handle it all for you. That's 1-877-258-3601, or itcscrap.com. Interco Recycling, a Metaltronics recycler since 1996. Mitch Daniels leads things off for the Cavemen in the top of the fourth, trying to add on to their 7-2 lead. Matthew Hess, Cavemen got 3 straight outs out of the bullpen. Looking for some length out of the bullpen is Justin Paulson, something he hasn't gotten here today. This is his 4th pitcher he's already used. Hess came in with nobody out in the 3rd inning. No balls, 1 strike to Mitch Daniels. Daniels, Deal, and Floyd. 5, 6, 7 for the Cavemen against the big right-hander Hess. As a junior at Missouri Baptist this spring, 22 1/3 for Hess. ERA in the mid-3s, a 3.63, 26 strikeouts, just 6 walks for the big right-hander. Hails from Scottsdale, Arizona. Went to Scottsdale Community College before heading to Missouri Baptist. Two balls, 2 strikes to Mitch Daniels, who hails from Washington. So Arizona against Washington. And that's fouled away. Illinois. My apologies. I'm thinking of a different player. My apologies. Daniels from Waterloo, Illinois.
We got insider info in the press box, though. Sports information director at Webster University helping us out with some good sports information.
That's popped to the right side. Gage Cruz is under it for the first out. That's why you always check your notes before you say something.
They say if your mother tells you she loves you, you have to get at least 3 sources, right?
That's right.
Isn't that what you learned in a broadcast journalism class, Shane?
Yep.
Under the direction of the communication department at Quincy University, they were teaching you a lot of the values that journalists should have when they do accurate reporting. So how do you feel about that?
Oh, not so good right now. His Deal chops that one out to second base. I was thinking of Connor Kiffer. Connor Kiffer is from Washington, so my apologies.
Hey, I've been impressed with your frontal lobe all summer long. You've had great memory. You don't look down on your notes too much. I'm a little different animal. I don't have a great memory. Remember a couple things here or there. Guessing always goes well, but I'm trying to follow those values, seeking truth, reporting it, holding the powerful accountable, acting independently. The code of ethics right there.
It's in full effect.
And as long as you continue to act ethically, we are in good standing with the FCC and all the broadcasting we can do.
At least I hope so. Hey, there's a lot of players in this league. Sometimes their schools and hometowns kind of run together. Sometimes we think we know. You don't know as much as you think you know. That's what we've come to learn about this business.
And that's why we've come to learn Google Docs has been our best friend throughout this whole thing.
1 ball, 2 strikes to Zach Floyd. Matthew Hess has retired all 5 batters he's seen. Looking for a 1, 2, 3, 4th inning. The 1-2 outside. Hess has been impressive.
Big right-hander, good velocity, good movement. Has a couple different pitches he can throw for strikes. Ate up a lot of innings for the Spartans. Does a good job on the mound.
Another one of these Missouri Baptist arms. Impressing here in the Carshield Collegiate League as that's popped up to the right side once again. Almost the same exact spot. And Gage Cruz will put that one away. A 1, 2, 3, 4th. Matthew Hess, 6 up, 6 down. How about that? We're through 3.5 here from Carshield Field. 7-2 Cavemen. Halfway through here in the first ball game of 3. Here on a beautiful Wednesday, Jack Rigoni looks at a strike from Josh Hoffman back out for his 4th inning. Rigoni, Barrymore, and then the top of the order, Tommy Woods for the Gems as they try to claw their way back from a 7-2 deficit. Matthew Hess has provided some relief, for lack of a better word, out of the bullpen. 6 up, 6 down for Mr. Hess for the Gems. 2 scoreless innings. And now his offense will try to get him some runs as they trail at 7-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Strike 3 called on the inside corner. Rigoni turned away from that pitch, but a called 3rd strike in the eyes of the umpire.
What about your eyes? I thought that may have been a little in.
Might have been a little inside, maybe too close to take with 2 strikes, but
Maybe the umpire's a little more trigger happy on the strike call.
Barrymore, first pitch swinging again. He's not wasting any time and a fly out to center field. But we can't even introduce him before he's swinging.
We haven't talked about him in a couple days. Is that 5 at-bats in a row?
That's
He's swung at the first
5 at-bats
pitch.
in a row. He swung at the first pitch
And
and put it in play. Put it in play, too.
But no hits to show for it?
Nope.
Where's ultra aggressive Barrymore is. Wonder why. Need to ask him maybe. Maybe we'll get to the bottom of that next game.
Sounds like a plan. Here's a guy who's rarely ultra aggressive, Tommy Woods. Two balls, no strikes, and seems like every time Woods is at the plate, that's what we're saying. 1-0, 2-0, 2-1, 3-1.
Get on base. Well, 20 walks almost this summer.
He's swinging at that 2-0 pitch, and he swings through it for a strike. Woods, an RBI single the last time he was at the plate. He was actually swinging at the first pitch. Picked up an RBI and a base hit.
Looks like Brandon Gutzler goes down to the bullpen, get out the Jaeger bands, and start getting loose a little bit.
And there's walk number 20 for Tommy Woods on the summer. He is on base for the 2nd time. He's on with 2 away for Josh Gibson.
That's what you want out of the leadoff guy. Got to start bat flipping the walks now because that's all he really gets. Has the home run. He has the pop. He's signed to play Division I baseball out of high school. I'm just still surprised he doesn't have a place to play. He's so good.
And how about this? He has drawn a walk in all but 2 games this summer. He had a stretch of 2 straight games where he didn't draw a walk. And other than that, he's walked in every single game.
A walk machine, but when he gets on the base pass, he ain't going to be walking much. He'll be sprinting. He's quick.
That's his 15th game. He's stolen 4 bases.
But he's taken a lot of extra bases as well. He'll go first to third, just as the best of any of them in this league. A very aggressive base runner with balls in play.
And stolen bases are a good statistic to tell you how good of a base runner somebody is, but it does not tell the whole story. Like you mentioned, Tommy Woods, he's going to take the extra base whenever he can. He's ultra aggressive on the base pass, and there he goes for second. And no throw. Woods swipes his 5th bag of the summer, sliding in head first.
Walks to first, sprints to second. Has walked to first.
Save some of that energy by just walking.
He's walked to first 20 times this summer.
20 walks. And there's a strike to Gibson. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Gibson trying to drive in his cousin with 2 away.
Gibson thought that was ball 4. He says, all right. And now I'm going to hit.
3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 away here in the 4th. And he is swinging, and he fouls it away. This will be 7 pitches in this at-bat. So Gibson making him work with 2 outs. Woods reached on the base on balls. You never know what can get started with 2 outs. And that's hit up the middle. That's going to be a base hit. Woods is going to try to score. The throw from center is offline. RBI base hit for Josh Gibson. He drives in his cousin to make it 7-3.
And Tommy Woods, I feel like every time he's on the base pass, his helmet comes off, flying around the base pass.
Might need a a snugger helmet.
He puts it back on, and his cousin does indeed drive him in. Josh Gibson says, okay, I won't take ball 4. I'll take an RBI knock.
Why not? So now 7-3, and talk about the 2-out magic, getting something started with 2 outs. This guy coming up to the plate right now did something spectacular with 2 outs a few nights ago. A go-ahead. How about a go-ahead grand slam down to your final strike, down 3 in the last inning?
It was nuts.
The swing of the summer Ryan Malzahn had a few nights ago. The Gems are down to their final strike. 2 balls, 2 strikes. They had the bases loaded, 2 away. And what does Malzahn do? Fouls off a couple of pitches and then hits a grand slam to left field. Ultimately, the game ended in a tie. What else? But nonetheless, kept the Gems out of the loss column at the very least. So an RBI base hit for Gibson. He's 1 for 2. He's now driven in a run and scored a run. And that brings in Malzahn with 2 away. He looks at a ball in the dirt. For Gibson, that's RBI number 7. And for Woods, the 8th run he scored. Hoffman check on Gibson at first.
Now Gutzler, Shane, in the bullpen starting to throw a little bit. Give credit to Hoffman. Not his best stuff, but working here with the lead. I know he surrendered a run here this inning, but when you don't have your best stuff, it's baseball such a team game because sometimes the offense notices, okay, we need to get a couple more runs for him. And sometimes we've seen that with teams like the Cardinals, like in their 4 or 5 starters. Maybe they're not the best, but that's when the offense needs to wake up. Okay, Jack Flaherty's on the mound. We only need 1 run. But when you get to the 4 and 5 starters, sometimes that just motivates an offense. Hey, maybe we need a couple more runs for him.
There goes Gibson for second, and he swipes his 7th bag of the summer. No, it'll be a walk. So no stolen base. Gibson moves to second. Malzahn to first. The pitch was a ball. Looked like a good pitch. Thought it might have been a strike. So no stolen base for Gibson, but a walk for Malzahn. And he's on base for the 3rd time. Still has yet to record an official at bat. Couple of walks and a hit by pitch. So they're being careful with him, and rightly so. Hottest hitter on this Gems ball club. Hitting almost 400 coming into play, and that's fouled away by Kylan Cunningham. So another 2-out RBI chance, and if the Gems can get at least 1 more here, we got a brand new ball game. 7-3, Cavemen on top. 5 of those runs came in the 2nd inning. As that gets away from Hoffman, and the runners move up. Now a base hit. They'll cut the deficit in half.
And a ball comes onto the field. So Hoffman's ball almost misses Kylan Cunningham's head. Gutzler down in the bullpen threw a ball that landed on the fly in the stands and then caromed into the field. So both pitches a little wild just on back-to-back plays.
A little 2-ball action going on.
A little of what Joe Kelly tried to do last night.
2 balls, 2 strikes.
A little head hunting, a little 96 by your buzzer. What happened last night, that was interesting, Shane. But obviously no harm meant by Hoffman. That ball just slipped away from him and got behind Cunningham.
Check swing by Cunningham, ball 3. If Cunningham can reach base, Fogarty would come to the plate representing the tying run.
He is trying to work inside, though. Really trying to pound the arm side to the left-handed hitter. Kylan Cunningham will punish things on the inside part of the plate. Interesting approach.
Like that, 2 balls and 2 strikes to Cunningham. The pitch, chop foul. So Cunningham stays alive with 2 strikes, 2-out RBI chance here. Malzahn at second, Gibson at third with a big lead. And that pitch gets away, and Gibson is going to score. 7-4 Cavemen.
Chipping away, they're chipping away, and they're making some noise. Okay, Shane, that 7-1 deficit doesn't seem like out of reach now, Shane.
Now a base
Just
hit will for sure cut the deficit to 2.
a blue bit of blast. We're tied, Shane. And the guy on deck, he's already blasted it a couple times this summer, Tyler Fogarty.
The 3-2. Hit slowly to the left side. Sperling's going to have to hurry. He gets Cunningham at first. The Gems get a couple. Well, it's 7-4 as we head to the 5th here on Carstio Collegiate League TV, getting a little closer. Tyler Headcamp, Nick Rose, and Danny Sperling, 891 for the Cavemen. Want to take this time to thank our sponsor, Interco Recycling. Give Interco a call, 1-877-258-3601, or head to itcscrap.com if you've got scrap metals, batteries, or electronics to recycle. Just give them a call. That's 1-877-258-3601, itcscrap.com. Interco Recycling, a metaltronics recycler since 1996. No balls, 2 strikes. Matthew Hess has come out of the bullpen throwing strikes and getting outs. He's retired all 6 minis faced out of the bullpen and kept the Cavemen in check. No balls, 2 strikes to Headcamp. The pitch hit to Barrymore at second. 7 up, 7 down for Hess out of the bullpen.
Hess doing a great job. The big frame gets downhill on guys, and it's tough to pick up. Getting on a roll, and Shane, this was needed. Through 3 innings, they used 4 pitchers. But now Hess settling in a little bit, giving the Gems a chance. It's hard to pitch with a deficit, Shane, because you come in, your team's flat, you're out of the ballgame. But he comes in, pumps strikes. His team has been chipping away.
Through those first 7 hitters, 20 pitches, 15 strikes. And there's the first base runner. Cunningham's going to try to throw him out at first. Almost would have had him, but it goes into the dugout. So Rose will get second on a sharply hit ball to right field. We almost had our first 9-3 put out. A good throw would have been very, very close. But a base hit and a throwing error by Cunningham, and Rose goes up to second.
Cunningham probably with the best arm in the outfield we've seen this summer. Coming up firing from the left side. We've already seen him gun down multiple runners at second, one at the plate as well. Almost coming up firing. That's what you see in Little League a lot. Guys coming up firing, but I love it.
And a shallow right field, and surprised that we haven't seen it yet, but that's really the first time it's been a hard hit, base hit right at you, and almost would have had him with a good throw. He kind of struggled to get it out of his glove, too, it looked like. 3rd error for the Gems. 2 for the Cavemen. And Rose advances to second base for Danny Sperling, who's reached base 3 times.
Matthew Hess, he reminds me of a guy named Zach Hess. He was a 7th rounder, the closer for LSU. Zach Hess is 6'6" in the Tigers organization. He was a non-roster invite guy for him, big-time arm. I mean, the closer for LSU worked in the upper 90s. Big time minor league prospect form and big pitchers with the last name Hess. Oh,
I see
we
a
see a
trend
trend. Yeah.
I see a trend.
The Hess starter pack, 6'6", throw hard.
And throw a lot of strikes.
You
Doesn't
jinxed it,
throw
Shane.
doesn't throw any strikes there to Sperling as he walks him. The base was open, so now that sets up the double play.
You remember when they used to do those starter packs with the four pictures? What's the Shane Holsey starter pack? Cardinals baseball, Blues hockey, 2011, 2019.
There you go. The Shane Holsey starter pack brought to you by Will Connerly. Unwarranted and unasked for, but I'll take it.
And a beverage of choice maybe in there.
We won't talk about that. No balls, 1 strike. To Turnbow, 1-1. So Hess looking for the double play ball. If he can roll it off the bat of Turnbow, would get him out of the inning. There's another strike. Hess coming in doing what a lot of Jim's pitchers before him couldn't do, throwing a lot of strikes. It was just 50% strikes from the 3 left arms. First deployed out of the 2 out of the bullpen, 1 starter. But Hess coming in throwing about 2/3 of his pitches for strikes. He was at 75% through his first couple innings. 2-2 here to Turnbow. Fouled away. We like the way Hess just comes in, doesn't mess around, throws a lot of strikes, throws a lot of fastballs as well. He does have a breaking ball, doesn't feature it all that much. Just comes right after you. Here it is. Try to hit it. And it's hard to hit. There's a breaking ball there, and Turnbow fouls it away. Kind of hung up in the zone. Not the breaking ball Hess was looking for on 2 balls and 2 strikes, but we'll try it again.
Interesting story. 6'7", 235, that the junior from Scottsdale, Arizona finds himself after Scottsdale Community College at Missouri Baptist. But he's had a nice home there, Shane. Logs a lot of innings, a prominent member of the Spartans pitching staff. Likewise, a lot of the guys in this league, the like of Sam Lemkool, Jackson Keller, Mason Palmier, Josh Sieglitz. A lot of powerful Spartan arms.
And that's cued to the right side, and that's going to drop foul. So good at bat here for Turnbow. He's seen 8 pitches. And Turnbow once again working a solid at bat, fouling off pitches, grinding up at the plate, not going down without a fight. That's why he's hitting at the top, near the top of this Caveman order. 3 balls, 2 strikes from Hess. Upstairs, he walked him.
And Shane, back-to-back walks, that's uncharacteristic for a guy like Hess. 26 strikeouts and just 6 walks in 22 1/3 this season in the shortened 2020 season at Missouri Baptist. Had a 3.6 earned run average, so we know he fills up the strike zone, but a tough task with the bases loaded and now the 3-4 hitters up. A couple Missouri Tiger thumpers in this order.
He'll have to get at least one of them. If he can't roll a double play, he'll have to get both of them. Seth Halverson hits with the bases loaded. Dangerous situation here.
We know Halverson has the pop. Seen him go yard a couple times. One time to right field, one time to left field. A big bat. You had to face a couple SEC bats with the bases loaded.
He fires in a strike right there. 1 ball, 1 strike. Pivotal pitch coming here. A 1-1 pitch can really turn the tide of an at-bat.
You want to keep Halverson off the base pass. 11 stolen bases this summer. He's already been on 3 times today.
That's hit to third, and it gets past Woods down the left field line. And this could score 3. And here comes Turnbow. Wide turnaround second for Halverson. And 3 runs score. Three runs batted in on that play on the double by Halverson. give him 4 runs batted in on the afternoon.
That really breaks this
And
game.
that breaks the game open. It's 10-4. That was a pivotal at-bat right there.
And it's tough facing the 3-4 punch in this Caveman order. It's thick, and you still don't have Brandon Gutzler in the order because he's a guy who's going to come out of the bullpen. He's probably their most track record hitter, most talented hitter probably in the whole league, and he's in the pen.
There goes Halverson. Once again, he's running wild on the base pass with reckless abandon, and he steals another base.
At 13 on the summer now. He wastes no time. Sometime to his detriment. We saw him try to steal home. He was the go-ahead run in the 6th inning a few days ago. He tried to steal home. So he's ultra aggressive. It has gotten him 13 stolen bases this summer, but we've seen that sometimes not go fully his way.
The only time he was caught was trying to steal home.
That was such an interesting sequence of events. He tried to steal home, and then a little jaw-jacking between him and Austin Schmidt with the Falcons. This was 3 days ago, and then a big old bat flip inning happened.
That's popped into foul territory down the left field line. Tommy Woods near the bullpen makes the catch.
That was he was upset. He was out at the plate, and Schmidt was blocking the plate. One of the more wild sequence of events we've seen. Schmidt, Halverson exchange words, and then Schmidt deposits a ball to left field bleachers and carries the bat all the way to first base and throws it up in the air. We said, what went higher, the bat or the ball? Because that bat flip
was close.
Was insane.
So now Mitch Daniels, the Webster University Gorlock, will try to extend the lead with 2 outs. Cavemen have already doubled the lead. They answer the 2 runs put up by the Gems with 3 of their own. A bases clearing double for Seth Halverson. And the Cavemen have reached double digits. Make that 18 runs the last 2 ball games for the Cavemen, and they're still hitting here. That's skied in the shallow center. Josh Gibson calls everybody off, makes the catch in front of Lane Barrymore for out number 3. So we're through 4.5. The Cavemen put up a crooked number here in the 5th. We head to the bottom half, 10-4 Cavemen. Brandon Gutzler toes the rubber for the Cavemen here in the bottom of the fifth. They're working with a 10-4 lead. And the former Murray State slugger takes the mound for the second time so far this summer. He worked a couple scoreless innings a week ago last Wednesday against the Corn Belters. 3 strikeouts, a couple of walks, just 1 hit. And he showed some big-time pop in college, 52 home runs, tore the cover off the baseball, hit over 400 in his college career, and now trying to work his way back as a two-way player. He's played some outfield, and this is the second time we've seen him on the mound. And Fogarty, a jam shot down the left field line. That's going to fall for a base hit. And Fogarty, a wide turnaround first, but it'll hold there.
The game got broken open with that Seth Halverson bases clearing triple. But 6 runs, no lead is safe in the CCL.
No,
we saw
sir.
the Cavemen. Didn't they let up a 9-run lead one time
Against the Eagles? Yep.
11 unanswered. Ended with the Ole Arntzen walk-off. Was that? Does my memory serve me correctly?
Your memory does serve you correct.
So it can happen.
Gage Cruz looks at a ball, 1 ball, no strikes. Fogarty, the base hit. That's hit number 5 on the day for the Gems. So now Gage Cruz, as the Gems will try to claw their way back again. They scored a couple of runs in the bottom of the 4th, but Seth Halverson hit a bases clearing double. And the Cavemen have now scored 18 runs the last 2 games, still with 2 innings to play here today. They put up 13 hits and 7 runs, 8 runs rather, yesterday. 10 runs on 7 hits, so 20 hits and 18 runs the last 2 ball games for the Cavemen.
That plays. I heard. I've heard that plays, Shane.
They still got a couple more innings to work with here. 2 balls, 1 strike to Gage Cruz, who struck out a couple of times. He hits here in the 5th after the base hit by Fogarty. He's 1 for 3. And Gutzler has to deal with a leadoff base runner. Gutzler spent some time playing over in Germany. Spent some time at Merrimack, a couple of seasons there, 3 seasons at Murray State. Hit 26 home runs his last 2 years at Murray State.
One of the best hitters in the country.
Mm-hmm.
We know he can hit. We didn't know he could pitch. He's experimenting that right now on the mound this summer. Talking to Will Bradley, the manager for the game. Yeah, I know he's a good hitter, but we're not sure what he can do on the mound yet.
Well, he worked a couple of scoreless innings the last time he pitched, and he gets a pop out there. Halverson calls him off, and Gutzler's saying, I'm an outfielder. I can take that. You don't have to come get it from me. I am pitching, but I am a natural
Halverson's
outfielder.
an outfielder, too, and he comes and gets it.
Well, once Gutzler's on the mound, you get the heck out of the way. But, I mean, he is an outfielder, but Halverson is as well. Nonetheless, 1 away. And now Gutzler looking for the double play ball off the bat of Matt Westfall. Josh Hoffman worked 4 innings, 83 pitches, 4 hits, 3 runs, 3 strikeouts, 4 walks. Didn't have his best stuff, but he does leave with the lead. And that's all that matters. 1 ball, no strikes to the Quincy University catcher, Matt Westfall. Westfall 1 for 2 on the afternoon, singled and scored back in the 2nd on the Tommy Woods base hit, grounded out to 3rd in the 3rd inning. Swing and a miss there, 1 ball, 1 strike. So we've seen plenty of comebacks. Do the Gems have one in them? Cavemen trying to win their 3rd straight ball game. Come in at 7-10-2. Gems 7-8-1. 1-1. That's hit into right center, and that's going to get in the gap for extra bases as it hops over the wall onto the clubhouse and over the clubhouse. So a 1-out double for Westfall, and don't look now, but the Gems are in business.
Great piece of hitting there by Westfall. Gutzler came with the fastball. Westfall had 2 strikes and great approach. He wasn't trying to do too much. I mean, yeah, he drives that ball to the outfield. It hits the wall. But that's not a Matt Westfall. That's not as healthy of a swing as you're going to see from him. But it was very effective. He drills the ball. A guy who just has brute strength, and he drills it to right field in the gap. With 2 strikes, that's a great piece of hitting on a good fastball. He gets and goes the other way with 2 strikes. Impressive right there. Just ambushes that fastball the other way.
Nice piece of hitting there by Westfall. If that ball doesn't hop over the wall, Fogarty might have scored on that play. But nonetheless, 2 runners in scoring position for Jack Fogarty. Or Jack Rigoni, rather. Fogarty on third base. Fogarty, Rigoni. Our words get jumbled up here sometimes.
A chance, though, here.
1 ball, 1 strike. Foul back.
We always talk about Rigoni's speed, but he's a very good hitter as well. Hit over 300 this past spring. 25 for 25 on stolen base attempts. That's the number that pops out at you.
Interesting path for him as well. We've talked about it a few times. Started at SIU East, started all 51 games there as a freshman, and then headed to Jefferson College and continued to produce at a high level. 25 stolen bases, hitting over 300, playing great defense in the outfield.
Yeah, usually see you guys go junior college to Division I, but he went the opposite route. We'll see where that takes his career. Obviously, looking for a school after Jeffco to go to. A lot of high-level Division I commits from JUCO start committing around this time as they begin to start another year. And a lot of high-level guys, start committing in October, in the first semester, and then they already are committed as they play their second season.
So now the bases are loaded, and Will Bradley has to be biting his nails and frustrated, likely with Gutzler coming in with a 6-run lead and promptly loading the bases.
Got a 6-run lead. Good to try Gutzler out on the mound. He had a couple scoreless innings. We know he can hit the baseball, trying the pitching experiment out. We know his fastball can come above 90, but he hasn't channeled it. He's not a polished pitcher in the zone. He's a guy with a ton of arm talent trying to work on his stuff, and this is a good setting to do it here in the Car Shield Collegiate League. But in the sequence of this game situation, a 6-run lead could go away quickly. A big out he needs to get with the bases loaded.
And over-under pitches seen here for Barrymore. We'll set it at 1.5. He's been swinging at the first pitch, and he takes that one.
Did you take the over or the under?
Well, didn't have time to decide.
Swung at the first pitch the last 5 times he's been at the plate. Put him all in play.
Not a good one to swing at there, but he looks at a strike there. 1 ball, 1 strike.
You think someone told him maybe you want to see a couple?
I think so. Especially after the guy in front of you just walked.
And with the bases loaded as well, put some pressure on the pitcher.
He's swinging there, and he fouls it back. So if you're Barrymore here, a grand slam, you're still trailing. So the approach has to be just try to get on base any way you can. Can't hit a 6-run homer.
Especially for the top of the lineup coming up.
1 ball, 2 strikes, and he chops it foul. Thank you for joining us here on a beautiful Wednesday afternoon for Baseball Let's Play 3 again. Gems Cavemen getting things started here. More baseball for you. Doubleheader at 5:30. That's chopped to the left side. Double play ball. 5, 4, 3. Roll them up. And Gutzler loads them up, but rolls the double play and gets out of it. 10-4 Cavemen as we head to the 6th here on Car Show Collegiate League TV.
This inning brought to you by Interco Recycling. They've been recycling non-ferrous industrial metals, batteries, computers, and electronics since 1996. The company operates a 400,000 square foot, 45-acre facility on the Illinois side of downtown St. Louis. So if your company has large amounts of scrap metals, batteries, or electronics to recycle, call Interco Recycling at 1-877-258-3601 or go to the web at www.itcscrap.com. Interco Recycling, a electronics recycler since 1996. Cannon Ritz, the new left-hander on the mound, Shane. So they go to 4 left-handers today, 5 pitchers used, and I guess you got to use a lot of pitchers when you walk 14 guys combined between the two teams. We have 14 runs as well as we're in the top of the 6th. The left-hander delivers a pitch. It's fouled back by Caden Deal. He is on base 1 time today, over 2, walked in the 2nd. But most guys have walked today. We have 14 between the two teams. Major league record for a game 30, so we're much off that. As the CBC graduate in Southpaw strikes out Caden Deal to start off the top of the 6th. Cannon Ritz, a lefty out of CBC, had 5 appearances and 5 2/3 innings for the Cadets in 2019. He'll take his talents to Denver to play for Division II Regis University. As the lefty delivers the pitch, misses low. Facing off against the center fielder, Zach Floyd. Walked in the first, a sacrifice RBI fly in the second. And that inning where the Cavemen just took off with 5 straight hits, scoring 5 runs, a big crooked number. Gus Poulos set the tone, though, Shane, with 1 inning of work and 42 pitches thrown for the Gems. Now the 5th pitcher into the ball game for the Gems as Zach Floyd comes on, facing off against the left-hander.
Maybe not setting the tone the way you would like to, but hey, it's going to happen. You're going to have bad outings on the mound. This guy's headed to Holy Cross. He's headed to a Division I school for a reason. He's got the talent to do it. He just needs to shake that off. He's going to get another start here this summer. We know that. So he just needs to move on from this start. Pretend it. It happened. You're always going to know what happened, but you got to pretend like it never happened. And you're going to have bad outings like that. It's going to happen.
How do you respond from a bad outing, though? It's tough because with pitchers, a lot of times you're chomping at the bit to get back on the bump because, I know from experience, if I have an outing where I did terrible, it's you have to wait a week to redeem yourself, and it's good practice to not let it eat at you because baseball. At least I know a lot of guys. It's baseball. People talk about work-life balance. Well, baseball life balance is tough for all these college athletes because that's all they've ever known. It's a sense of unification, and it takes stuff away as that pop out to right field. Cunningham coming over. And there's 1 away. The left 2 away after the inning starts with a strikeout. Sandwiched in there a walk. A strikeout, walk, and then a fly out to right field by Headcamp. The 9th place hitter in the order, Nick Rose, comes up. Nick Rose, the SIUE infielder, catcher as well.
And if you have the right mentality, your mentality should be, I want to get back out on that mound and redeem myself as quickly as I can. You're going to have to wait probably a week or so, especially with the amount of arms we have in this league and guys just trying to ease back into competition. But Poulos, he's going to get his chances out there on the mound to redeem himself. He's been good so far this summer. He just needs to think back on the starts he had before that, where he was solid, the things he did well, and not dwell on the negatives. That just puts you in the wrong mindset.
Of course, I think that you have to look at every outing as information. If you do bad, that's good. That's good information because you know what made you do poorly. If you do well, that's information. Okay, you can take that and then you can build upon that and execute next time on the things you did well. You always have things you did well, and you always have things that you can improve on, no matter what. And so it's important to. That's why evaluation and looking back is so important with your pitching coach. Okay, what was wrong with my mechanics here? We saw his stuff was a little flat, and he was opening up, it seemed like, too early. A lot of balls were missing high and arm side. That's what happens for a left-hander. The left-hander Ritz does it right there as it misses up and away from the zone, and Rose gets the walk. But that's what I see a lot, guys flying open, and they're not staying directional with their glove side, and balls will kind of sail on them. And that's what sometimes happens when you miss up and in on your arm side. It's same thing with a right-handed pitcher. It would just be up and away to a left-handed batter, not up and in. Runners take off. Westfall throws down to second. But the throw not handled by Gibson, and a couple stolen bases brought to you by the O'Fallon Family YMCA. The Y for healthy living, youth development, and social responsibility. So runners on second and third. A 10-6 ball game. Cavemen, the offense, Shane, it's been trending upward the past couple games, and they've continued that trend today. That ball scoots away from Westfall, and that's going to be a run for Floyd. And Rose stays at third. Floyd comes around to score, and another run added on to this big lead. Cavemen now up by 7, Shane.
And they just keep pouring it on. Floyd stole a couple of bases yesterday, stole a couple of bases again today, and he's just flying around the base paths.
Two balls, no strikes. Ritz, the fifth pitcher used for the Gems today, working. That ball popped up toward left. Under it is Malzahn. And that will be the third out, but another run comes across. 7 runs. The Cavemen lead by as we send it to the bottom of the 6th here from beautiful CarShield Field. Shane Olsey, Will Connerly here with you on CCL TV. Gutzler out for another inning of work. In the top of the lineup he faces. They'll try to muster up something. They trail by 7. Tommy Woods takes the first pitch. A lot of pitches have been taken today. 16 combined walks between the two teams, and a lot of bases have been taken as well. 9 combined stolen bases between the two teams. Tommy Woods hits this one toward left field in the gap, but tracking to get it in left center field is Zach Floyd for the first out. So Woods is retired. He's been on base a couple times today. And a couple flyouts for the third baseman. Gibson comes to the plate. He's been on base 2 times, walked and scored in the first, singled and scored in the fourth. Gibson, the shortstop at the plate, 1 out. Here in the bottom of the 6th inning, Gutzler gets that one over for a strike. The hard-throwing right-hander Brandon Gutzler, a former standout at Murray State, a big-time home run hitter. Now obviously trying to limit the home runs and try to spot up. Hits a spot on the inside corner there. A ground out to the third baseman, thrown across the diamond by Sperling. Halverson at first throws it around the horn for the second out. So a ground out, a pop out, and then a ground out. That brings up Ryan Malzahn, the third place hitter in this lineup. A walk, a hit by pitch, and a walk for Malzahn. He comes to the plate. Man, 16 walks between the two teams. The command hasn't really been there. A pitching coach, big nightmare right now if you're one on either squad. They both have struggled with the command, or they've fallen behind in the count, and that's why we've seen 11 spot put up for the Cavemen. The Gems trail by 7 runs here in the bottom of the 6th. At the plate, Ryan Malzahn, the rising freshman at SEMO, grounds it to the right side, backhanded by the first baseman Halverson. He steps on it, and a 1-2-3 clean bottom of the 6th. We send it to the 7th, 11-4. The score, Cavemen on top. This inning brought to you by Interco Recycling. Interco's been recycling non-ferrous industrial metals, batteries, computers, and electronics since 1996. The company operates a 400,000 square foot, 45-acre facility on the Illinois side of downtown St. Louis. So if your company has large amounts of scrap metals, batteries, or electronics to recycle, just call Interco Recycling, 1-877-258-3601, or go to the web at www.itcscrap.com. Interco Recycling, a Mellotronics recycler since 1996. A 7-run lead for the Cavemen. They come to the plate in the top of the 7th. Colin Turnbow, Seth Halverson, and Luke Mann here against Cannon Ritz, the CBC graduate, headed to Division II Regis. First pitch misses to Colin Turnbow. Colin Turnbow, 3 times he's been on base today. He's scored every time. A walk, a double as well. That pitch misses low. Matt Westfall, the catcher, squatting all 7 innings, and he's seen 5 different pitchers. Poulos went 1 inning. Then Caton came in. Didn't record an out in the second. Lemcool came in. Lemkool made his 10th appearance of the summer, one of the most effective bullpen arms in the league. He came out tending to an elbow injury, it looked like. Then Matthew Hess came in, did a good job, and now Cannon Ritz. So Westfall has seen 4 left-handers and 1 right-hander. The backstop handling the Gems pitching staff today. It's been a tough task for pitching staffs. That's the 17th walk we've seen in this ballgame combined between the two teams. So a lot of free passes, and they've been able to steal a lot of bags as well. They've been running on these catchers and pitchers. 9 stolen bases between the two teams, and somebody who can run at first, Colin Turbo on base, and somebody who can definitely do it in the box, Seth Halverson. He has 12 stolen bases. He'll try to get on. He already has been on 4 times today. Every time he's came to the plate, he's found a way to get on base one way or another. An error, a single, a double, and a fielder's choice. So he's done it in a unique way, but he seems like he's ready to swipe a bag every time he gets on the paths. 1 ball, no strikes. Ritz comes set and delivers the pitch. Missed upstairs, 2 balls, no strikes. And a 7-run ball game, 11-4, Shane. They talk about speeding up the play, but this game has taken a while because of the amount of free passes we have seen. That's a trend in Major League Baseball. A lot of fans, a lot of people within the executive offices say they are concerned about the speed and pace of play. Well, the pace of play comes down to good pitching. You mentioned it before. You can't have better pace of play and more offense, which seems like a mentality of a lot of people. I want pace of play. I want more offense. Well, those two don't coincide. We've seen offense today, but the pace not there. You need premier pitching, the offense as well, and it's interesting to see that balance. If you look at history in the eras of baseball, I mean, it always shifts. Sometimes the hitters dominate a certain decade or era, and sometimes it's the dead ball era with the pitchers. And right now we're in a unique time with especially with this 60-game season. It's so cool to see how general managers and coaches will actually adjust their style. Everything we thought we knew about baseball kind of goes out the window. It's not that long marathon. It's not okay, he'll get out of the slump. It's so, no, we're actually a tenth of the way, through the season almost now. And so it's just interesting to see that, 6 to 10 games is equivalent to a couple weeks in like a real season. And so you kind of get that feeling of like there's actually more emphasis on every single pitch, which may be something people like, especially in this league, each team getting 30 games, and that's double that for the major leagues, but still not a ton of time to slump. If you're not, and we've seen actually in the majors this year, a lot of the guys early that are having success, Shane, are the ones that are the older veterans. So they've been through spring training before. And a lot of the younger guys, they didn't get that couple months to time up pitching. But the guys who have been around the block a couple times seem like they're having more success, a lot of the veteran teams. Small sample size, though, which we've just seen through 4 to 5 games, some teams with 6.
And you see guys like Christian Yelich, former NL MVP, started, 1 for 18, I think it was, or something like that, the first few games. In a 162-game season, that's not a big deal, but you're playing barely over a third of the normal games you're playing, so that 1 for 18 over, say, 4 games, that's like hitting that average for 10 or 12 games over the normal course of a season.
Usually 162, but this year 60. You saw off 100-plus games from a schedule, and things shift a little bit. Ritz maybe had a mindset shift. He got a little mound visit. He faces a guy you don't want to face with runners on base. Luke Mann nearly had a home run earlier today, hit off the top of the wall. Had a double, a couple of strikeouts, and a pop out. This ball popped up foul.
And it looks like Mann's starting to drive a couple of doubles yesterday will kind of get you going, but none of them were very particularly well struck. But you see some of those hits start to fall, and you're thinking, if I really put a good swing on a ball, what's going to happen if I'm getting hits on balls that go 130 feet, getting doubles on balls that go 130 feet and barely leave the infield? Then when you really put a good swing on a ball, you start to really feel good.
It can get you going, the confidence of, you'll take any hit you can get. You talk to a hitter, they don't care if it's an infield single, if it's a little blooper. A hit is a hit. I mean, it's already hard enough to get, so take them when you can get them. But the goal of a hitter is every time, obviously, yeah, you want to get hits, but the goal is to square the baseball up. A line out, a lot of hitters will live with. They know that, 3 out of 10 times, if you're the best, you're going to get on base. But the thing people don't talk about is 4 to 5 to sometimes 6 times some of those best hitters hit the ball hard. Every time you hit the ball hard, you don't get on base. But if you can hit the ball hard 5 out of 10 times, you might have 3, 4 hits. When you consistently square up the baseball, you are going to find gaps as man reaches on the fielder's choice. Halverson off the base pass.
And they say it evens out. Sometimes it doesn't feel like that. You're going to have line drives that get caught. You're going to have broken bat, little Texas leaguers that are going to be base hits. And they say it evens out.
I think it does, but in this 60-game stretch, it may not as much have time, but you saw with Matt Carpenter when he was slumping, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then he started to go
slumping
off.
In terms of, like, statistics, he was still hitting the ball well.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It evened out because his statistics in terms of his hits and average weren't there, but his exit velocity was. So a lot of the projections said, no, he's going to be a guy who turns it around. The backhand by Gibson, throw over to first, not in time. So Turnbow comes across. 12 runs now for the Cavemen. They've been producing the runs no matter what pitcher is in the ballgame. Poulos, Caton, Lemkool, Hess, or Ritz. Runs have come across. Ritz headed to Regis University in Colorado, the left-hander, on the mound with a runner on first base in a 12-4 ball game. So they add, if they needed any more insurance, they get some more.
How about 20 runs the last 2 days for the Cavemen? You're going to win a lot of ball games. They're scoring 20 runs over 2 days.
And they needed it. Drake Salzman didn't give them a great start yesterday. We usually see great starts from the former CBC product. He goes deep into ball games, eats up innings. A couple of years at Henderson, doesn't walk a lot of guys. One of the best first pitch strike throwers in the league, but he kind of got roughed up yesterday. But how about Ryan Foley coming out of the bullpen? And Shane, he did so well. 5 innings out of the bullpen, closing it out, getting the victory.
He was spectacular.
That gave the Cavemen some momentum. The bats stayed alive today. They got behind Salzman. They picked him up. The starting pitcher, he's going to be good. He's going to have his stuff. He just didn't have it that day. Sometimes, you might have 5, 6 starts. There's at least going to be 1 or 2 in there where the ball's just not coming out of your hand well. You woke up, you slept on your shoulder the wrong way. Your mechanics aren't good. You feel tight in your hip and you can't rotate the right way. There's so many factors that go into pitching mechanics that sometimes you can't pinpoint it. Sometimes the pitcher can't pinpoint it, but the ball just doesn't fly out of your hands. Then you have some days where you're just feeling it. You're letting it eat. And you see that's what Devin Turbeck has done all summer long. He's felt good. But we've seen that the guys who can consistently compete no matter how they feel are the ones that consistently perform at the highest level in the long term. It's that they don't take into account if they may not have their stuff, they're going to go out and they're going to be a competitor, and that's what he did, and that's what Justin Paulson does. He wants another guy coming to the mound with runners on first and second here in the 7th. The 6th pitcher used today for the Gems. Justin Paulson makes a call to the pen. We'll tell you about him when we come back. So new arm into the game, Kyle Fowler. We see him another time. Shane, a swing and a miss right there. 6 pitchers used for Justin Paulson. He's had to go deep into the bullpen. 42 pitches to start things off for Gus Poulos. Logan Caton threw 22 pitches, didn't record now. Sam Lemkool had 1 inning of work through 18 pitches. Matthew Hess, 3 innings of work. He was the most impressive pitcher we saw, just 3 earned runs. 1 2/3 for Cannon Ritz. Surrendered 2 earned, and now Kyle Fowler on the mound. We've seen 166 pitches thrown from the Gems, Shane. 19 combined walks between the two teams. We looked at the MLB record, which was 30 walks in a game. We prorated that for a 9-inning ball game. That would be about 26 walks. So we're getting close potentially to seeing. Obviously, this is different. I'm sure in college games there's more walks because the guys at the top level have the most command. But a historically-esque game in terms of the lack of command. As the inning ends, Fowler gets a ground ball, does the job. Final shot. Is something going to happen, Shane? We'll find out in the bottom of the 7th. Come back on there. Next on CCL TV. This ending brought to you by Interco Recycling. Interco has been recycling non-ferrous industrial metals, batteries, computers, and electronics since 1996. The company operates a 400,000 square foot, 45-acre facility on the Illinois side of downtown St. Louis. So if your company has large amounts of scrap metals, batteries, or electronics to recycle, call Interco Recycling, 1-877-258-3601, or the web at www.itcscrap.com. 4-5-6 due up. Cunningham, Fogarty, Cruz. New pitcher into the ballgame, Chase Stevens, trying to shut the door and get the final 3 outs to get a Cavemen victory. Do we have more 7th inning heroics for the Gems? They hit a down to their final out and down to their final strike, a go-ahead grand slam. Shane, they would need a couple grand slams to even tie this ball game, but it could be done. It ain't over till
it ain't over till it's over. It ain't over till you get that last out.
They put the shift on Cunningham, the right fielder. Pitch missed upstairs. Gems, but I mentioned they need a couple grand slams to just even tie this ball game, like we saw Ryan Malzahn with that go-ahead grand slam a couple nights ago against the Hoots. Malzahn would definitely need to come up this inning. He was the last out last inning. They would definitely need to bat around at least once to try to muster up something to some type of comeback, but it all starts with the leadoff hitter, Kylan Cunningham. Stevens, a 3-ball, 1-strike count. And you guys notice we're not in awe, we're not in shock of anything like when we get to the last inning, oh, it's an 8-run game, we might start teasing the next ball game, talking about things. No, you literally got to fasten your seatbelts right now because anything can happen in a big game right now. Because it's the 7th inning in the Car Shield Collegiate League. So we can't rule anything out. As Stevens, the right-hander on the mound, delivers the pitch. It's in there for a strike against the designated hitter, Tyler Fogarty. An 8-run ball game. Stevens with an 8-run cushion. Here in the bottom of the 7th against the Gems. Runner on first is Cunningham. Pitch upstairs. We do got a couple games later tonight. Of course, we'll talk about that. That pitch in there for a strike. About 3 hours from now, Eagles, Corn Belters, and then Hoots Falcons tonight. Couple big matchups. The Eagles got 10 wins. They were the first team to 10 wins in the league. They took first place. Corn Belters right behind them. They both have 20 points when we go by hockey. If 2 points for a win, 1 point for a tie. But we designate wins more than ties if the two teams are tied in terms of points.
So once again, we'll have a matchup where the winner would move into first place. Or would stay in first place.
Between the Eagles and the Corn Belters. Indeed. Because if the Corn Belters win, they have 2 ties. So they would go ahead of the Eagles, who have no ties. They would have both 10 wins, the same amount of wins. So a couple base runners get on the paths. We alluded to it. Things could get interesting. They'll need to do that much more as they've trailed by 8 runs. Is that Ben? A little action down there in the Cavemen bullpen. No throwing yet.
Yeah, Ben Prywich set it down there. A couple of arms headed down there.
Couple arms headed down there. They just want to be sure. I believe that's not Prywich. Yes. I think he's just protecting. That ball's skied in the air by Cruz. It's popped up toward the left side, and the left fielder catches that one for the first out. Caden Deal records the out. Runners on first and second. So Chase Stevens with 1 out. Matt Westfall coming to the plate.
That's Preston Burnett going out there to start stretching, start playing catch.
So Matt Westfall at the plate in the bottom of the 7th. An 8-run deficit for the Gems. We've seen things get wild. Can something wild happen here? Pitch missed upstairs to the Quincy University catcher, Matt Westfall. Runners on first and second. Westfall at the plate. Chase Stevens on the mound trying to get the final out for the Cavemen. And this would cap off back-to-back days where the Cavemen offense was electric. Westfall thought about swinging, but holds up 2 balls. The right-hander getting the signs from Nick Rose, the catcher. They're playing Westfall straight up. In the infield, straight up in the outfield. 2 balls and no strikes. Stevens comes set and delivers the pitch, misses outside. 3 balls and no strikes. Shane Holsey, Will Connerly here with you on Car Shield Collegiate League TV. In about 3 hours, we'll have some more baseball for you. We're playing 3 today. Why not? Off day tomorrow, but But with rain potentially looming in the area, they could use that day as a day to do some games if things get rained out. Mount Westfall gets on base with the free pass. Jack Rigoni coming to the plate.
And, of course, if we do have any schedule changes, we'll be sure to let you know. Check our social media at CarShieldCL.
Oh, yeah. Check our social media.
On Twitter. We'll definitely post updates on Twitter should anything change.
And you can always message us. You can find us many different ways. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook.
We're everywhere. We're hard to miss.
Our personal social medias that we put on the Car Shield Collegiate League Twitter from time to time. YouTube, you can always email us. We put our email up in between innings pretty frequently. Comment on the broadcast. Let us know how you're doing. It's been fun here in the Car Shield Collegiate League so far. On the 29th day of July, started this bad boy back on the 1st, Shane.
4 weeks.
We've got 4 weeks of baseball so far and a couple more here in the Car Shield Collegiate League to go. 90 games, 45 day. The pipe's holding up well for you. The voice, everything feel good?
I still hear words coming out of my mouth, so
I hear them too. Half the time. Sometimes I don't.
How about yourself?
Feeling good, Shane. I'm loving the baseball right now. I've been something that, when you're hungry, you're going to be eating for a while. And I was hungry for baseball, and don't know if I'll ever get sick of it. I love the game of baseball, everything that comes with it. You have a tweet pinned on your Twitter bio. It says, once you love the game of baseball, you never stop loving it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I wholeheartedly agree with that. I mean, I just got done with my playing career, and I can't get enough of baseball. I think my love for baseball, I can't know if you said this, has probably only increased since I stopped playing, just because I appreciate the greatness so much. I know how hard the game is, and I know as broadcasters we can say, oh, that's an error, that's a bad play if the pitchers have struggled today, but we know it's not easy. But that's just what it takes to perform at the highest level. I mean, when you have over 20 combined walks in a game, we understand, obviously, that's not a good day, but we never want to short any of these players just because of the fact that we know how difficult it is and the unique circumstance with a lot of these guys having competition. They've had a huge layoff in time from competing, so sometimes it's hard to get back into the game mode and adjust to that. A lot of times you have, in college, 4 to 5 weeks of inter-squads before you play a game. You just get thrown into the water here. The wild pitch by Stevens. Rigoni with the walk, and a run comes across. We get word from our official score, 23 combined walks in this game. Chase Stevens working with the bases loaded. A run comes across. So 5-12 the score. Of course, Shane, 12-5. You never want to say the lower score first. Thanks for pointing that out. As that ball goes behind the catcher and another run comes across. I'll get it right for you this time. 12-6. They're doubling up now. A couple runs come across here in the bottom of the 7th. And what did we say at the beginning of this inning, Shane? Things could potentially get interesting. There is one out, but runners on second and third. A couple more base runners, and you potentially have a save situation. You need that tying run to get on deck, right, Shane? 12 runs for the Cavemen. That's 20 runs in the past 2 days for the Cavemen. But it seems like they're trying to let go of this ball game in the home half of the 7th, giving the Gems already a couple runs. Barrymore at the plate. It's foul. But right, Shane, that's the save situation. You need that tying run coming on deck. Maybe that's what they're doing in the bullpen, trying to see if they could potentially bring him in that situation. Shane Holsey, Will Connerly here with you on CCL TV. A little rain looming in the area. We'll see if it's a hit or miss. Hopefully a miss. That pitch missed low. 3 balls and a strike. The right-hander Chase Stevens, Harris Stowe State is where we believe he pitches at. The right-hander pitching here with 3 balls and a strike to Lane Barrymore, the standout formerly of Quincy University, now going to Three Rivers College. A foul ball back to the screen. Full count, 1 out, runners on second and third. Already a couple runners across. Barrymore at the plate. A 12-6 lead. And Shane, you got to stay locked in till the final pitch.
Mm-hmm. Especially in this league.
The full count offering. Missed upstairs. Another walk for Stevens. And Will Bradley going to make the call to the bullpen. He does. We'll tell you about it when he comes back. But a bases loaded situation. 12-6 your score on CCL TV. Preston Burnett now on the mound. Harris Stowe State right-hander. Shane, we've seen 24 free passes today. It's been much different. We've seen a lot of pitching duels. We saw an offensive show yesterday. But right now you just say this is just a pitcher's worst nightmare. Free pass after free pass, 24 of them. The MLB record is 30. If we prorate this for a 9-inning game, it'd be over 30. So this potentially is a little record-breaking performance. Obviously, 24 free passes, by far the most we've seen in a game this summer. A 12-6 ball game. Speaking of walks, here's the guy who leads the league in them with 20. Bases loaded, 12-6 score. 1 out, bottom of the 7th. Reliever coming into the ball game. First pitch misses low from Burnett. So Chase Stevens did record 1 out, but a couple runs come across. Here in the bottom of the 7th, the offering. Call for a strike on the corner to Tommy Woods. A unique game, to say the least, Shane. I haven't seen something quite like this in a long time.
We've seen a little bit of everything in this league, and this one, just add another one to the list.
We've seen 10 stolen bases, 24 walks.
10 pitchers used.
10 pitchers used. It's been, all I got to say is you learn something every single day, and it's been fun at the ballpark. Every day you can learn something. A good outing, a bad outing. But this has been, for sure, a coach's worst nightmare. The bullpen gets depleted. This doesn't affect just the game today. It affects the game tomorrow and the future games, because now these bullpen guys who have thrown 30, 40 pitches because their command's not good, they can't play the next 2-3 games. So it definitely affects things moving forward as well when you play in a game like this. Gems trying to make a comeback. They trail by 6. Woods hits this one toward left, coming up on it, but it drops. And that's a base knock. Gems move station to station. And things get a tad bit interesting now. The bases are loaded. A 5-run ball game on deck representing the tying run, Shane. Before this inning in the break, we were talking, could we see a save situation? This technically warrants a save situation. Not for Burnett, of course. You can't get in your own. But if any pitcher were to come in the game now, it would be a save situation. And look who's on deck. Mr. Malzahn, the guy who hit the grand slam against the Hoots a few nights ago. So if you tuned us out, you said this ball game's over, you were dead wrong. We still got a ball game going here in the bottom of the 7th.
And if you're just now joining us,
welcome.
How did we get to this point?
Welcome to the show. 1 ball, no strikes. Josh Gibson at the plate. And Shane, you talk about if you're scoring at home. If you're scoring at home today, you've probably ran out of ink in your pen.
Oh, goodness.
You've had to fill in.
Look at us here.
You bat around a couple times. You got to scratch it out and say, move it over to this inning.
I've had to do that a couple
times.
You got
to shade in all the runs. I mean, when you have 24 walks and 10 stolen bases and everybody moving around the base paths, you're getting low. Is your lead still good on that pencil, Shane?
I'm good for now. Broken it a few times. Had to go through 2 or 3 pieces. But
could we see another wild comeback? Mr. Malzahn on deck. 2 balls and a strike. The right-hander from Harris Stowe working here with the bases loaded. Already a couple runs across. 3 this inning. Tommy Woods most recently with the RBI single. He's on first. The bases loaded. A swing and a miss by Gibson. 2 balls and 2 strikes with 1 out.
If Burnett can get Gibson here, with Malzahn looming in the on-deck circle, that means he can still give up a grand slam and still have the lead. So Gibson, a key man here. Keep the tying run in the on-deck circle.
The 2-2 pitch. Missed upstairs. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Bases loaded. Home half of the 7th. A 5-run ball game. Get on the edge of your seat. A telling pitch right here in the Gems' quest for a comeback. The pitch. Gibson pops this one up toward right field. Headcamp over there in right. No, center fielder Floyd catches it, but runner tags from home. Ragoni scores. Barrymore advances to third. Now runners at the corners, 2 outs in a 4-run ball game.
And more
so the tying run still in the on-deck circle, like you mentioned, Shane. But that guy can put a blast on a ball, can he? Kylan Cunningham on deck. The most important run in this game right now. But Ryan Malzahn is going to have to be dealt with first. Been on base 3 times today. A couple walks and a hit by pitch. Runners at the corners. Woods at first. Watch him to swipe second here. He does. He takes off and easily trots into second, standing up. Malzahn, the foul ball. Runners on second and third. A 4-run deficit for the Gems. So they've scored 4 in this inning, making things interesting. They're trailing 12-4. Chase Stevens started the inning. And then Preston Burnett comes out, trying to get the final out. Malzahn pops this one up to right field. Under it is Headcamp, and he tracks it down just a few steps before the warning track. An effort, close but no cigar. The on-deck circle was the tying run after trailing by 8 heading into the bottom of the 7th. But the Cavemen come out on top. A couple big offensive shows, and they've won back-to-back ball games. 12-8 your final. Shane Holsey, Will Connerly here with you on CarShield Collegiate League TV. We'll be back with you in about 3 hours.